think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. It's Wednesday. My name's Bart Anson. I'm here with Dave Tuckman. We've got a special night tonight. We're doing our normal 20-40 no-limit hold'em with a $2,000 minimum, uncapped, unrestricted buy-in, maximum, no maximum. And tonight's show is going to be sponsored by Poker Blue, an old friend of Live at the Bike.
Right.
They're doing a promotion, and throughout the show, we'll be telling you a little bit about that promotion. Very, very exciting happenings over there on Poker Blue.
Yeah, it really is.
It's going to be a crazy night. We got a lot of old friends on the table. Let's head over there, and let's get started.
Yeah, you're talking about great happenings over at Poker Blue. Talk about the table here. We've got in seat one, we've got Yoshi Nakano. Yoshi Nakano coming off of an Intercontinental Poker Championship where he faced off with 21 of the best poker players in the world and came out on top. Yoshi Nakano really one of the best cash game poker players in the world. And now he's actually kind of like, you know, showing his strength in tournaments. Exactly. Yeah. Seat number 3, we've got Ed. Actually, seat number 2, Trish is back, sorry. Seat number 2, we've got Trish. It's Corporation Mom. And actually just lost the pot right before the show started.
To Mike, yeah.
Yeah. Seat number 4, we've got Corporation Mike. And he actually won a monster pot right before the show started with Ace King. Always a force in these games. Seat number 5 returns a old friend. We've got Mike Wu, also a really phenomenal player in his own right.
Third place at the LA Poker Classic, recently on the WPT show, on the Travel Show.
And seat number 6, we've got co-owner of the Lakers, Frank Mariani there. And it was funny, I asked Frank right before the show started, I said, hey, are you happy for Shaquille O'Neal or not? And he said, you know what? I am. Real classy guy. Seat number 7, we got Barry Woods.
Classic.
That's Barry. Don't call me Greenstein Woods. Seat number 8, we've got Farhad. Always fun to see him. He's a real gambler. Likes to play a lot of hands. And seat number 9, we've got none other but Action Mo.
Dave, right away, we've got a super hand here. Set over set. Corporation Mom has raised it with pocket kings. She's hit middle set. Corporation Mike has got pocket tens. Mike Wu is going to call with a flush draw here in seat 5. Frank Mariani overcalls with ace-8, and this pot is quickly $2,500, set over set to open the night. The turn is a 7. It gives Mike Wu a pair with his club draw. Trish still out in command here with a set of kings.
Yeah, the only thing that might save Corporation Mike is the fact that it's his mom who has the higher set.
And she is going to bet here again.
Why wouldn't she?
She bets kind of weak. She bets $800 into a $2,200 pot. And Mike is just going to smooth call again.
I can't believe he's keeping the players in behind him. I really can't.
Is he scared possibly of aces or kings here from his mom?
No, but he's not going to be scared of his mom, though. He's going to lead in the players behind him with the flush draws.
And Mike Wu calls here again with the flush draw and the pair. You wonder if a 7 comes, is Mike going to get into trouble here?
I don't know anybody that actually plays. I mean, I've never seen Corporation Mike play scared.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's really an odd way to play it. I mean, you've got to realize if a jack comes off, a queen comes off, or a club comes off, those are some really scary cards.
This pot is $5,000 now, and Frank Mariani has not released his ace-8. He made the overcall on the flop. We got a bet, a call, and a call, and he would have to again overcall, drawing dead here on the turn with ace-8.
And I got to tell you, if you're ever in a hand and your glasses fall off in the middle of it, just throw your hand away.
And he's out of there.
It's a sign from God.
And here we go to the river. And the river is a club, and Mike Wu is going to win this one. Set over set, over made flush, and Trish doesn't have much left here.
Yeah, but she's got to realize there's a good chance she's beat, though, doesn't she?
It's a $5,000 pot here, and it looks like she is going to, well, she's rearing up to push in here. Well, now she's going to slow down.
Well, let me ask you this. If she pushes in a big bet, what is Mike...
It gets checked over to Mike Wu, and he bets $2,000. And by Corporation Mike not playing this hand hard, he has let Mike Wu in behind him, and Mike Wu is going to win this pot. He bets $2,000. It's a $7,000 pot. She's got middle set, and she's going to make the call. And can Corporation Mike overcall here with middle set?
Oh,
it really
man.
puts him to the test.
It does. You know, I think he thinks his mom is ace king. Yeah, he says,
Yeah.
what do you have, ace king? He thinks his mom is ace king. He thinks Mike Wu's got the flush. And obviously, if he had raised, he would have protected his mom's hand. And he's going to throw away set of
pocket
tens.
tens, face up, and Mike Wu is going to take down a $9,000 pot to start off the night. Trish frustratingly throws away the kings. And I got to tell you, Mike and Trish usually play pretty hard against each other. And Mike actually lost that pot for his mom. You know, a lot of different scenarios. All the money's going to go in on the flop between Mike and Trish.
Well,
there.
let me ask you this. Did Mike lose the hand for Trish, or did Trish lose the hand for Trish? Kind of a weak bet. You pointed out on the turn when she only bet $800 into what, about a $2,500 pot or $2,400 pot. Probably should have bet about $2,500 on the turn.
And she just asked him, why didn't he raise? She just asked him.
And obviously, I think Mike was trying to trap behind there.
Yeah.
Well, what a night of poker we are in for tonight. Button moves over to seat number 7.
20, 40, no limit hold'em. Brown chips are $10 chips. Whites are hundreds. What a hand to start off the night. And can you imagine if that turn was an 8? I think Frank Mariani might have lost all his money with ace-8.
Yeah, probably. Obviously, a lot of cards could have really, if a 7 had come off and Mike had made a trip 7s,
Yeah.
and both Corporation Mike and Mom
Both
had
have
made
full
full
houses.
houses. Exactly.
Farhad's going to raise it up out of the small blind there to 320 with pocket 5, so we're not going to see a flop there. And again, we've got interesting happenings over here at Poker Blue. Tonight's game is sponsored by Poker Blue. We're going to be talking about this all night, Dave. Poker Blue is going to be running a $110 tournament starting July 6th, one per night at 7 o'clock Pacific time. And they are giving away 23 seats. And if you win the tournament, you not only win a seat to the main event, $10,000 plus $1,000 in spending money, you become a part of Team Poker Blue.
Well, what the heck is Team Poker Blue?
Team Poker Blue is comprised of Ted Forrest, Yoshi Nakano, and the 23 other players that win the tournaments on Poker Blue. They are each going to swap 1% of each other, leaving 75% for themselves. So you swap out 25% of yourself automatically, 1% to every other player on the team, and you keep 75% of the yourself, kind of hedging the bet a little bit. We'll get into more of that a little bit. Frank here is going to raise it up here with ace-10.
They get called in 2 spots.
Barry calls it king-queen.
Now, it's an interesting hand here in seat number 8. Farhad's actually double-gutted. It's a really nice flop for 6-7. I got to tell you, if an 8 comes, he's got a straight. If a 4 comes, he has a straight. And either way, he has the nuts.
Now, Barry Woods is going to bet 360 here, and I believe that Frank brought it in for a raise. He checked, and Barry's just making a bluff at it here, Dave, with overcards.
And Farhad looks like he might raise this.
He makes the call.
Okay.
This pot is quickly about $600. Barry has absolutely nothing here. Farhad's going to be a favorite with, well, it's about 50-50.
Yeah.
I was going to say no pair against no pair with the draw. Here we go to the turn. The turn's 3. Let's see how Barry's going to play this now. He checks, and Farhad checks right behind him. And we head to the river, and it's a 7, and Farhad now hits a pair. And it's going to get checked down, and Farhad's going to take it down there with a pair of 7s.
Yep.
Again, you can email us at live@thebike.com, questions, comments, suggestions. We're going to be not necessarily we're not going to be able to get to a lot of the emails and the post up on 2+2 tonight.
Well, obviously, with a game of this magnitude, we're going to be paying a lot of attention to the game. I got to tell you, you look at a game like this. Normally, our 20-40 game, people buy into 3,000, 2,500. I think everybody's bought in for at least 5. We have over 50 grand on the table already.
Other interesting news about Poker Blue, Dave, they are no longer a skin of Pokertropolis. They have now entered the Intercontinental Poker Network, which is basically comprised of Planet Poker and a couple of other sites.
Oh,
now.
great. Well, that's a
New and
big move for
improved
them.
software.
Yeah, definitely a big move for them.
Live straddle here by Corporation Mike in seat 4. Limped around. He's going to check it out of the straddle spot. We're going to see 3-way action here. The pot is about $250 with the blinds. King Deuce 4 with a couple of diamonds. It's missed everyone here. Trish has got the best hand here with Ace Deuce. And Mike is going to throw a bet out here. He's going to bet 220, and that's probably going to do it. And it does.
Take it down. Well, that's not really good. Trish wins the small pot, loses the big one. Not a good formula for poker.
We talk about actually Mike Wu being placing third in the LA Poker Classic. Is it a bit of a loose call? Over-calling with what we call kind of a naked club draw there with Mike calling in between. I mean, it was a weak bet on the flop. He again calls the turn. And then when he gets checked to him, he makes the flush. He's fairly certain he's got the best hand. But would you continue to call there with kind of a naked flush draw?
It really does put you in a tough spot. I mean, somebody easily could have a higher flush draw, and you could be almost drawing dead.
Limp here.
Obviously, Mike had some sort of a read on them. Ended up taking down a huge pot. What was it, about a $10,000 pot?
Now, Corporation Mike has got pocket tens in the big blind, and he's shooting a raise here. He's going to make it 400 more.
You know, it's funny, Corporation Mike always dominates his usual competition that we see on Live at the Bike. It'll be interesting to see Corporation Mike play against players such as Mike Wu and Yoshi Nakano, two world-class players.
And Frank Mariani is going to call with 5-7, and that's going to bring Farhad in from behind with King 8 of hearts.
Wow, $1,500 pot already.
Quickly have a $1,500 pot here. Here we go to the flop. Well, there's the king right in the door.
Wow, two pair for Farhad.
Yeah, he's got top and bottom here. 8-9 king with two spades. Mike's going to bet. He's going to bet 800 into a $1,500 pot, about a half pot size bet. Frank has got a worthless kind of gut shot to the 6 with two spades out there, and he's going to make the call.
Wow.
And Farhad is going to immediately push all in here with the two pair. Mike easily folds, and that gets Frank out of there as well.
And you know, I was wondering if Farhad might play it a little tricky against Corporation Mike, maybe let him bluff into you a couple times. But once Frank Mariani calls in between, that board is way too scary to slow play. Obviously, there's straight draws out there, flush draws out there. You want to push it in right away.
So again, $110, Dave, starting July 6th. And if they don't have necessarily, say that, you know, they only have 40 or 50 players, there is one seat guaranteed.
Good. So they're basically giving away a World Series of Poker main event seat every single night starting July 6th.
You become a part of Team Poker Blue, and you get to swap 1% with the rest of Team Poker Blue.
So for $110, you got a chance at, what, probably close to $10 million.
Yep.
And I know it is an $11,000 package guaranteed every single night because they're giving you $1,000 in travel expenses as well.
Now look at this. Pocket queens here for Barry Woods. And did he just limp in there?
It'll be interesting to see how Barry plays in this game now. You've got some real sharks in this game. A lot of professional poker players.
It's going to get limped around 7 ways, so it's about a $300 pot. Let's see how Barry plays the queens in an unraised pot. Well, there's an overcard, a king. Barry actually has the best hand still, Dave.
Yeah, and he's going to put a little money in there. He's going to see where he's at. Now, nobody has, well, actually, Yoshi's got spade draw, and he calls.
Yoshi's going to call, and that, again, kind of is a naked flush draw. He is in position, though. Obviously, much, much bigger than calling out of position. And Mike Wu was also in position that hand.
Exactly.
Turns a jack.
And that's one of the things about being in position. Sometimes you get yourself a free card. Now, Barry's always pretty aggressive. He's going to fire again anyway.
He bets 800 here. And is Yoshi going to continue to call here with that kind of dryish flush draw?
I mean, a lot of players would bet the queens one time and then might even check the turn. Barry takes it down. So I got to read this here. The Intercontinental Poker Championship. This was insane. This was a CBS Intercontinental Poker Champion co-captain Yoshi Nakano. He competed against Tony G, Daniel Negreanu, Johnny Chan, Umberto Brenes. Let's see. I'm going through the whole list of. Doyle Brunson. Carlos Mortensen,
Devilfish
Thor
Elliott
Hansen,
from England, yeah.
Hassan Habib, Sammy Farhar. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and he won. First place, unbelievable. And this is going to be actually airing on CBS.
Yeah, it has aired already.
Starting on June 17th.
Started on 17th.
Yeah.
And every week on Saturdays, I believe.
So the next episode will be in a couple of days, June 24th.
Yeah.
I raised 600. I get what, 4 callers?
Phenomenal.
Limped around here, and we're going to see it between Frank, Farhad, and Trish. Yosh. Limped around. Yoshi's got the same hand he had last time. Queen 9-4 here. Well, Frank's got a pair of nines. He's going to come out and lead out for $100. Probably going to do it.
And Frank is rebought for another $5,000.
You know, we talk about if there's ever a time to lay down the bottom set and in what situations are there. And I got to tell you, with an ace-king-10 flop out there, with a couple of clubs, and you've got a very, very solid type player, like in this case your mom, betting into you, that actually might be a time where you might somehow get away from that on the flop or on the turn.
Yeah, I mean, the one problem with the way Mike played that hand, obviously, is he never raised, so he never got information. If he raises it and his mom comes back over the top, well, then maybe he can release it. But obviously, she could easily have top two. She could easily have ace-king there.
Yeah. I'm not raising it. I don't know.
Nice laydown on the river, though.
Well, I mean, at that point, Mike's got to realize that that's just nothing there at that set.
Yeah. Nothing more than a bluff catcher.
7-way action here, $300 pot, limped around, 8-4-5 on the flop.
We got a
8-6 here for Corporation Mike. He's got top pair and a gut shot. Frank Mariani's going to put out a little bet here with 10-5. He's got middle pair. He bets 40. 40 into a $300 pot. And Farhad is going to raise it.
Wow, you know, he's got 6-5 here. He's got middle pair plus the gut shot. Same gut shot that Corporation Mike has.
Sometimes when someone throws a little weak bet out and it gets raised, you never necessarily know what's going on. And Mike Wu here is going to re-raise with 3-4. You know, you got that weak bet, a kind of a mini raise. Mike calls, he senses some weakness, and he's going to re-pop it up to 800 here. And that might get it done.
You know, and you got to love Mike Wu's game. He is one of those sharks that he really will adapt to the game he is playing at.
And Farhad is going to call him.
Well, he's got a draw. He's got a gut shot, plus he's got backdoor hearts.
And this is going to bring Corporation Mike in, and we've got quickly about a $2,800 pot heading to the turn.
And nobody's got anything, really.
The turn is an ace. Corporation Mike still with the best hand with 8-6. Checked over to Mike Wu. He got called in two spots. What is he going to do now?
He has now picked up a draw. A deuce would give him a straight.
And he's going to bet big here again. 2,500, a nice pot-sized bet. Obviously not playing the strength of his hand, knowing that these guys probably have a pair and a straight draw, which is exactly, you know, what's going on in this hand. Farhad gets away from it. Let's see what Mike is going to do.
And you can see that Mike is almost a 4-1 favorite here. But I don't know how he can call. Mike Wu using his image to take away a pot. Talk about some poker.
Again, you know, you talk about how that hand plays out. When you get a $40 kind of a very weakish bet, which is not a real bet, and then somebody raises. Well, somebody could be raising with as little as bottom pair, in this case middle pair. Then you get a smooth call by Mike, Corporation Mike, and C4. Now Mike Wu says, none of these guys are strong. I can really hammer it here. And now when a nice blank comes out, which in this case it was an ace.
Well, the way you can look at it, you go, well, you know Frank Mariani's not strong. He bet 40. You know Corporation Mike's not strong because he just smooth called the raise. The only person I have to worry about is really Farhad because he was the raiser.
Yep.
And if I can get by him, I'm good. Ooh, pocket kings for Farhad in the big blind. 2 red kings.
Nice hand to have in the big blind. Limped around here. Trish and Mike both limp. Frank Mariani's got 7-8 offsuit, and he looks like he's going to raise it up. He's going to make it 240. Let's see how Farhad's going to play it. He does have a couple of limpers in the field. He immediately says raise.
He's not really a trapper. You know what I mean? He's going to pretty much play his hand straightforward.
It looks like he made it, what, 1,800 more here. And Frank Mariani is going to make a quick call here in position.
Well, you're talking about somebody who doesn't really care about money. He's here to have a good time. He's here to gamble it up, and that's what Frank's going to do.
$2,000 here to the flop, and Frank Mariani has flopped a big draw here.
Yeah, he is. It's an open-ended straight draw.
And Farhad moves all in immediately.
And I think Frank's going to call this.
I mean, this pot, let's say he's got 3,000 in front of him.
And Frank calls.
Frank calls, and this is going to be about an $8,000 pot. Frank Mariani with the open-ended straight draw. The turn is a deuce, and the river is a queen, and Farhad is going to take it down there.
His 2 red kings hold up against Frank's straight draw.
2,000 on the flop, a $3,000 bet by Farhad, and Mariani's got him covered, and it might even be more of a bet there by Farhad.
Yeah, we're looking at probably about $11,000 pot when it's all said and done, and Farhad is going to win about $5,500 new.
Yeah, Farhad actually had more. It was almost like about a $3,000 or $4,000 all in on the flop.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But, you know, you're talking about somebody who's a gambler. You know, $20,000 to a co-owner of the Lakers doesn't really mean anything. You've got to obviously think about it relative. And, he's here to gamble. He's here to have a good time. Obviously, you love somebody like that in your game, but you've got to realize you're going to get bad beats sometimes, too. And there's Ed.
There he is.
Shanazarian.
Coming into seat 3 here, and here's another guy that really doesn't necessarily have
Financial issues?
Yeah, any regard for the money. They're just chips. And sometimes, talk about Doyle Brunson said that the best poker players at the highest levels have to have a total disregard for the money that they're using.
Of
It's
course.
only an instrument in the game.
You have to be 100% fearless when you are playing at this high level of poker. And you look at this game, and you got Corporation Mike who's fearless. You got Frank Mariani fearless. Farhad, obviously, not scared. And now we got Ed in the game. These people are really going to push money around. And I believe we got a live straddle from Yosh.
Yep. Yosh over there in seat 1. We need to see his cards.
And this promises to be, we might end up having $120,000 on the table before it's said.
Now, Mike is going to bring this one in with a $280 raise here to the straddled pot. He's got deuce 3 of diamonds. Frank Mariani's going to make a quick call with an easily dominated ace-jack offsuit here.
And you can't run. See, that's the thing. Mike is so used to running over a lot of his competition who are scared to play against him. These players are not going to be scared of
I got to tell you,
Mike.
I think Mike needs to change up his game here in this game. Farhad makes the call with 5-6 offsuit, and Yosh is in there with jack 7 of hearts. We've quickly got a $1,200 pot going to the flop. 9 deuce 6 here. Farhad's got the best hand here with middle pair.
And this is, by the way, this is a $1,300 pot, and look at the hands. Nobody has anything big.
See if Mike is going to follow up with a continuation bet with bottom pair. He's going to bet about a half pot size $600 bet. I don't think that's going to get Farhad out of here. He makes a quick call.
He thinks about it. Hey, I got second pair. I'm going to call this.
Pot is quickly about $2,500 now. It's going to get Yosh out of there, and let's see how Mike is going to proceed. Can he use a big overcard as a scare card here on the turn if it comes? Well, the turn's a king. Let's see what happens here. Can he really use this if he thinks Farhad call with a 6 or a deuce here?
This is one of the rare cases where I'll probably be able to bluff him, but
there's a $5,000 chip there. He's going to bet $1,500. I got to tell you, I think that's probably going to get it done here, Dave.
it probably will. You got to realize this is going to work, but this is not the game where I'm going to be bluffing too much. I'm going to be betting for value more than not.
I said the Corporation Mike, he might need to change his game up, but just like I kind of predicted, if I was in his spot there and a king or a high Broadway card came, I think I put Farhad hopefully on middle pair, and I get him out of there. And that's
You're
a nice
100%
bet
right.
there by Corporation Mike.
It's funny, you talk about somebody's game there, and you talk about the ability. You look at Mike Wu, and we've seen him play. He plays it tight if he has to. He plays it loose if he has to. He plays it aggressive. He has so many different faces.
Here we go with the first chip count of the night.
Fine, Ed. How are you doing?
And there it is, $60,000 on the table. Mike Wu with $11,000 in command of this table.
Wow, look at that. A lot of money on this table.
Yeah. And let's take a look here at the differences. This game's been going since
Wow,
about
look at
6:30
this.
Pacific time.
Farhad and Mike Wu, both of them over $6,000.
Yeah.
Frank down a quick $8,800. Trish down $4,000. Corporation Mike down $2,000. We'll keep track of this throughout the evening.
And Ed is going to buy in for $5,000 here in C3. Mike Wu is going to bring this in for a raise with King-Queen offsuit. Barry Woods calls with a gap-suited connector, 10-8 of hearts. Farhad in with Queen-10, and Yosh in with a Jack-9. Well, ace-ace-3. Barry has flopped a flush draw. Nobody has an ace.
Now Barry bets his draw. Now this really is a naked flush draw.
And Mike Wu is going to throw a little $300 bet out here. He probably would bet an ace the same way, Dave.
Probably. Now Barry puts a little raise in there, kind of get a little feeler. First of all, he might buy himself a card. Remember, he's in position. Or he might just win the pot right
Well,
there.
he makes a smooth call.
That might be enough to buy himself a card, though, anyway.
Well, I got to tell you, if he smooth calls here and Mike Wu checks you on the turn, can he represent an ace and bet Mike Wu off the hand here on the turn?
I think that's exactly what you're going to try to represent.
Oh, the turn's a third ace. Wow.
Now, Mike Wu has the nut no pair. He has 3 aces, king, queen.
Mike Wu checks, and Barry checks right behind him. And the river's a heart, and Barry has a hand that plays here
Yeah, he
on
does.
trips on the board.
Exactly. Because Mike Wu has trip aces, king,
And
queen.
he's going to bet it here.
Well, why not?
He's going to bet it.
I really don't think Mike Wu has a pair the way he's playing this hand.
Okay. I got to tell you, if Mike Wu has queens or kings there and he makes the call, Barry loses to the full
Oh,
house.
of course. If Mike Wu has fours, Barry loses.
My question to you, though, is that we sometimes talk about, is there really any value to putting a bet in there besides not showing down your hand? Because Mike Wu, he's not going to call with king-queen, as he obviously didn't there, but would he call with a pocket pair like tens or jacks, and now he beats you?
I think he definitely would call with a pocket pair, but I'll go as far as saying Mike Wu might have called with king-queen. He didn't in that case, but there was a chance he could. You never know, obviously. Because you got to start thinking, what would this guy bet on the river?
Yeah.
Not much. It wasn't much today, I know. But it is me, and you do like to get
So we talk about adapting our play to the game we're playing at, and you see how Mike Wu is a master at doing that. And you wonder there with Corporation Mike, can he do it tonight? You've got players in this game that are just not scared of losing money. He is not going to be able to bully this table. And Mariani is going to call the straddled pot here. Straddled by Ed, so it's $80 to play.
And Ed's got a king-queen suited in the straddle spot here.
And he's not normally a raiser out of the straddle, though, is he?
Well, how about that? He's going to raise. I got to tell you, I like the raise. We talked about if you're going to straddle in a full ring game, you got to be making raises, and that by far is a premium hand in terms of a random hand.
No, I definitely agree with you.
He made it 300 more. Now, the problem is I don't know if the raise is enough because the pot is 300. Actually, it's more than that. It was 6 ways limped around. It was a $500 pot.
Everybody
6
might
times
call
80.
this. Barry's going to call. He's got fours. And that's going to bring in Farhad.
Unbelievable.
And that's going to bring in Yoshi. That's going to bring in Trish.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people call here. It's going to be 1,800s additional. It's going to be about a $2,300 pot going to the flop.
$2,300. Wow.
Here we go to the flop.
Absolutely
Ed,
insane.
Pre-flop raiser. Wow, what a flop for Ed here.
Set of fours for Barry.
Oh, boy. Bottom set here for Barry. Open-ended straight flush here for Ed. And Ed is going to come out, and he's going to bet 2,000. Love the bet. You can't ask for a better flop for king, queen of spades.
And if you're
here.
Barry, you can't really. You're going to move in here, and you're just hoping that Ed doesn't have a set of jacks or a set of tens. I don't see how Barry gets away from it.
I think the board is, yeah, he's going to move in, and this is going to get called here. And Ed is, I think, another 3,000 behind that.
And you'll see this even against the set. Look at this. It's not that he's not in that bad shape.
And Ed instantly calls here.
And look at it. Barry's only 58.
Turns an ace, and Ed's got the straight. Barry needs the board to pair. And it does not come, and Ed has it. He's going to win it with king, queen. Wow. And he's got 5,000, Dave. That pot's going to be over $15,000.
Insane.
5,000 total, though, so you got to subtract.
And so we're looking at a $12,100 pot, $12,300 pot there.
Well, I think it's more than that, Dave, because Ed had 5,000 to start the hand. Barry makes the call, and then there was an additional 3,000, about 13,000, something like
13,000,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And this. What a fucking monster flop.
What a huge flop.
And
for
you know
king,
what?
queen of spades.
That's really just overhead. You look at that board there.
Yeah.
You have a set of fours there. You've got king, queen of spades there. The money's going to go in. I mean, we look at it. Barry was about a 58-42 favorite on the flop. You know, that's about as good as it gets with king, queen of spades, though.
Yeah.
10 plus 5,000. 16, now plus 5,000.
And plus 5,000.
Plus 5,000?
Yeah.
Welcome to the game, Ed.
No, you want chips or you want cash? I want cash. Huh? Let me have the cash. Give him 2,000.
Unbelievable stuff.
That's 4,000.
One more thousand?
Yeah.
$13,000 pot there. And again, like you say, you know, it's just overhead. If Ed had a set of jack, all the money's going in there without a doubt.
Yeah.
No question.
I mean, the
about
way Ed played that hand, I'd almost think he had aces. You know what I mean? We know Ed so well.
Yeah.
You know, he'd bet aces. You move in, he calls. Okay.
Now, we didn't quite get a chance, or I didn't get a chance to say what the percentages were. But it's probably, Barry is not probably more than a 60% favorite.
Well, we said
with the set.
58-42.
58-42,
It
yeah.
was.
Of course, he's got the redraw for the board to
Do you
pair.
actually listen to what I say? Ever?
These are cocksuckers.
Butt moves over here to seat number 1.
Barry's going to rebuy for $6,000, and I'm telling you, this game is going to get huge. Now, we always talk about, you know, what defines a game? Is it the blinds? Is it the stacks? Is it who's in the game? And it's all of the above. You've got to look at this game. We had a 20-40 game on a couple of weeks ago that played much smaller because everybody bought in for $2,000. Now, this game, we can see right away it's playing huge. And it's going to continue to play huge all night long.
Button moves over here to seat 1. And a straddle here by Mike. Unbelievable stuff here. What a great way for Ed to come back into poker. We haven't seen him around in a couple of months on the show.
Yeah, it's always nice to see somebody win money.
Yeah.
Especially somebody like Ed. Nice guy.
I'm playing 2,000 behind.
Wow, look at this. Mike Wu is going to call a straddle in first position with Jack 8 of diamonds.
It's not, it's not like this table is passive pre-flop. There's a
No,
lot of raises.
he's got to
going on.
expect a raise come out from back. Although I say in a game like this, I'm going to want to see as many flops as possible and see if I can get lucky.
Well, Ed's got ace-4 here. I'm sure he's going to complete out of the big blind. Mike's got 8-3 offsuit. I don't even think that's raising standards for him out of the straddle, and he just checks it. So here we go. It's 4 ways. It's about a $325 pot. Queen 7-6. Well, Wu's flopped a flush draw here in seat 5.
And Frank has king-queen. Frank's not going to go anywhere with that one. Top pair, pretty good kicker.
Mike Wu's going to bet 200 here with his flush draw.
And Frank is going to raise with the draw. Raise with the top pair.
He makes it 800 now against, stronger opponents. You might fold this flush draw out of position, figuring it's too obvious. You're not going to get paid off if you hit it. But against Frank Mariani, has a tendency really to go all the way with top pair. There really are some implied odds here.
Oh, I'm definitely going to call it the diamond draw here.
Well, the turn's a 10, and Mike Wu picks up some more outs. He's got a straight draw now to the 9.
He's got 12 outs to the win, and you can see the percentages there at 72-28, about a 3-1 dog. But if he catches the card, can he win all of Frank's money?
Now, Frank Mariani is going to bet 1,200 here. The pot right now is about 2,800. 1,200 for Mike Wu to call, and he's looking at the stack. He's figuring out pot odds and implied odds.
Right.
He knows there's really no value to a check raise semi-bluff here
No,
against
definitely
this
not.
opponent.
And we talk about a fine line when you're playing against somebody like a Frank Mariani who might pay you off. You've got to realize if you hit this draw, you're going to make a lot of money. If you don't, well,
he gets away from it. And again, we see that the rabbit cam brings a 7. The flush is obvious. Now if a 9 comes and he makes a straight, boy, that's really obvious as well. Frank really only has one pair there.
Yeah.
Not really a disguised draw at all.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Exactly on the pot. What's that? Exactly on the pot collection. He won the pot, and he collected.
That's all right. I don't mind that as long as it's.
Button's going to move over here to seat 2.
Across the board. I'm picking up.
Small blind is $20. Big blind's $40. And Mike Wu is under the gun. He's first to act.
Every time you have pot collection, he gives him pot, and he gets the collection.
I tell you, there's some electricity in the air tonight.
Yep. Button again over there in Trish's hand in seat 2. Trish is probably going to be the tightest player, Trish and Mo, at the table. Mo in seat number 9. We haven't seen Mo play a hand yet.
And that's probably the right way to play in this game, in the sense you really can just play. You can play 1 or 2 hands in a span of 3 hours and do really well in this game.
Barry's going to limp in here with 7-10 of diamonds. Trish is going to limp in with King 9 of diamonds on the button. Ed completes. We're going to see it 4 ways here. It's $160 pot. All clubs here. Corporation Mike's got a pair and the nut flush draw here.
Yeah.
Barry Woods has top pair with no club. Is he going to really get involved if Mike throws a bet out here?
It's funny. Barry wouldn't get involved with anybody else except Corporation Mike. And he's going to bet
80.
He bets
$80 into a $160 pot. Kind of a smallish bet.
Is Barry going to get involved here? And he makes the call. And you wonder, is the worst card for Barry here a 4?
Without a doubt. If a club comes, he can get away from it. The 4, though, hard for him to put Mike on a 4.
Well, the turn's a queen. Barry's still got the best hand here. He's going to bet 300 here. Maybe a little bit of a stoppish bet. Well, the pot now is about 320, so it's actually about a full pot size bet here.
$620 pot, 300 to call. Barry obviously about a 2-1 favorite there. You can see the percentages. But does Barry want to go to war with top pair, no kicker, and no club?
And He's going to make the call here, and we're quickly approaching a $1,000 pot. Mike needs a 4, an ace, or a club, and he makes the ace, and he's got aces up now.
And that also is actually a bad card for Barry. The club is the best card for him. He can get away from it real easy. And look at this value bet.
$500 bet here by Mike on the river. Half pot size bet. And you know what? Barry's going to get away from it. You got to put Mike on a range. If he was betting the nut club draw here, he
got
now
that.
has 10-7 beat.
Right.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of lesser players would not bet the ace-4 there. It's an easy value bet. You see Mike making it.
We talked about some of the best players even betting a lone ace there when on our club draw and make just top pair.
Of course.
You make it look like a busted club draw bet or a busted flush
Right.
draw bet. But you have the best hand with top pair. Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com.
Poker Blue, live the rush.
That's a nice quality shirt.
Yoshi Nakano is going to bring this one in for 220 with ace-queen. And Mike is called here with ace-6. We talk about the history Mike has had with getting lucky by not hitting his dominated cards. We talked about it last night, Dave. Mike said, quote-unquote, I can get away from a weak ace. We'll see it here tonight.
Yeah.
Here we go to the flop. King 4-9 with a couple of spades.
And nobody's got much of anything. We got a couple of gut shot straight draws in there, but no pairs.
And it gets checked around here. Turn is a 7.
Well, Mike Wu is now picked up. He has a double gutter.
With
He
a
can catch
flush
it-
draw.
He can catch an 8 or a queen or a club.
And he did not bet it, and the river's a 7.
And Yoshi's the best hand here with ace queen high.
Oh, we are playing?
Ace high, where the queen kicker is going to play here. Remember, it's your best 5 cards in Hold'em, so he's got a pair of 7s, ace, king, queen.
Is he thinking he needs to bet here to win? He's going to bet.
That's a value bet.
He bets 600 here. Well, maybe he thinks he can bet somebody off of a 4 or a 9. I'm really surprised.
That he's betting this?
I'm surprised that Mike Wu didn't come out and bet the turn there.
Amazing. I mean, he had such a big draw there.
Especially when the pre-flop raiser just checks it. Double gutted with clubs. Big hand for him. His jack and his 10. Well, his 10 wasn't pure because Frank had a queen. But if he hits a jack, it's good as well.
I'm going to go as far as say I think Yoshi's betting there for value.
Really? You
I
think he's
think
going to get
maybe
called by a weak ace?
I think maybe he thought he might get called by a weak ace.
Really?
I really think he thought he had the best hands. I mean, I don't think he thinks he's going to get a 9 off, right? A 9's not going to fold. Now, Barry's got ace, king of spades, and he's going to raise right away. I think he makes it 140. Ace, king of spades there in first position.
And Frank is going to make a call here with 8-6 offsuit.
And you got to love that. You got a player calling, and he's checking blind.
Well, he's hit a 6 here, 9-9-6. Barry's really good about. Well, it goes check, check. He's really usually good about betting. The turn is a 10, and now Frank bets 300. You know what? And Barry calls without a club, and the river's a deuce. And it goes check, check. I was going to say, I don't necessarily mind the way that Barry might play. You might just take a card against kind of a calling station there. I don't really understand the call and the turn, though.
I got to fire one time. Because remember, if Frank Mariani did not start with a pair, he's only going to flop a pair 1/3 of the time.
Yeah.
So I've got to assume that I probably still have the best hand. So I'm going to charge him for it. Now, if Frank calls me, I'm probably not going to fire on the turn. I'll probably take the free card and see the river.
And you're a champ.
But I can't assume that because I missed, he hit.
Jack what? Jack 7 is Ed.
Jack 7.
You know, I always want to give my opponent the chance to fold. If I don't bet, he can't fold.
I have ace 2 and he has 3 cards.
Limped around here 3 ways. Barry in the blind, Yosh and Ed in the hand. $120 pot. 8-5-6 here. Well, Barry's open-ended.
And he's usually pretty good about betting his draws, and he's going to bet it.
He bets 120. Now, Yosh has got the top end of a gut shot with overcards. There are 2 hearts. He makes a quick call. The turn is a queen, and Barry's now got top pair.
And Yosh is now double gutted. He can catch a 7 or a jack.
340.
$340 bet here.
And
And
is
Yosh
Yosh going to
just
set up a
calls.
play if he misses?
And the river's a 3.
And what is Barry going to do here? He's going
gonna
to fire
come out and
again.
bet again.
Well, he's got the queen. I mean, he backed into that.
You bet 700 here, and Yosh is done with it. I was wondering if Yosh actually ever might raise the turn with that kind of disguised double gutter. You know, would Barry have called? If Barry was betting, say, with like 8-7, yeah, maybe he calls the raise on the turn, but then when he whiffs on the river, you bet again.
Right. It would have been really interesting if Barry had missed, and both players just missed their draw, and then to see what would happen there. Once again, we are live at the bike. I'm David Tuckman here at Bart Hansen, and tonight we are sponsored by Team Poker Blue. Some really exciting happenings over at PokerBlue.com.
Yep. Pocket nines here for Farhad. In the big blind, 20-40, no limit hold'em. And Mike was going to bring it in for a little bit of a raise. He's going to make it 120 to go with pocket six. No, it's 5-6 offsuit. Frank calls with 8-6, and it looks like Farhad is going to re-raise here, Dave. No, he's just going to smooth call. We're going to see this three ways. Well, ace 4-7, really good flop to raise it up with 5-6. You get the premier scare card out there, and you've picked up a nice draw.
Right.
And it gets checked around. Nobody bets. The turn's a third spade. It's a king.
Well, now Farhad's got the 9 of spades. He's got a spade draw.
Check. And now,
Mike's going to take a shot at it.
no $200 bet. I'm surprised he didn't bet the flop. Now, the issue for Farhad here, and he's just going to get away from it.
And I don't mind that laydown at all. I mean, you got the 9 of spades. You don't even know if that spade draw is good.
Yep.
It's not really the flop you're looking for. And he throws it away.
So again, you can head over to pokerblue.net starting July 6th every day until they get 23 players, 7 o'clock Pacific time, $110 buy-in, Dave. One guaranteed seat plus $1,000. It's actually a $12,500 prize pool. They're giving cash away to the final table as well. So
Oh, wow,
people
okay.
that don't win.
There you go.
And
So it's a guaranteed $12,500 package,
yeah.
no matter how many players enter.
It's an $11,000 first place package, $12,500
Right.
prize pool.
Whether they have 30 players and obviously if they have 300 players, they might give away 3 seats.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Got a $200 open raise here by Mike Wu with ace-king. Yoshi straddled the pot here. He's picked up a suited ace-rag. Wow, and he's going to call Mike Wu out of position. A little bit surprising there. Well, you got to think Yoshi's good enough where he's not going to look for an ace here.
Well, there's a 6, but is that really the flop you're looking for? It's all hearts. 8-6-5, all hearts.
He's going to throw a little tester bet. He bets 300 here.
Well, he knows it's a scary flop for him. It's probably a pretty scary flop for Mike Wu also.
Now, these guys, Mike Wu and Yosh, play in big mix games together. I'm sure they've got a lot of respect for each other.
Yeah.
Normally when they're playing with, rich businessmen, guys with a lot of money, they know that themselves are the best players on the table. They're not really going to mix it up with each other.
No, of course not. Well, and it's not that they're not playing soft against each other. They certainly don't do that.
Right.
But they know there's easier money elsewhere.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. You and I don't mix it up. Not because I don't want your money. I like your money better than anybody else's. But I can find easier players against.
Yeah.
So this Poker Blue thing, for $110, I can get my World Series of Poker main events.
Absolutely.
Wow. I mean, that's a really phenomenal deal. And they're
Live.
guaranteeing 1 seat every night.
Live straddle here by Mike. Frank Mariani's going to bring it in for a $280 raise with ace-jack suited. And Farhad's going to call with the dominated ace-10 suited. Yoshi's got jack-7 of hearts. He's out of there. And Mike calls with king-8. Now, Mike's hand is live. Three-way action here. Queen 9-5. Everybody's missed.
Yep.
Checked around. Nobody takes a shot at it. Turns to 7. Let's see if Mike might throw a bet out here with this gut shot. He's really good about playing off of other people's weaknesses, and he bet 600 here, and I think that's going to do it.
Yeah, he's going to steal it. You got to wonder, why is Corporation Mike calling a raise from 2 calling stations out of position? I just
King
don't.
eight, yeah.
I don't. King 8 offsuit. I mean, what are you really trying to do? I mean, you're setting yourself up where you almost have to bluff out of position.
In the new era here of Corporation Mike, when we really respect him as a player, when we used to do these big games last summer, we kind of thought Mike was one of the weaker players. Now he really is one of the stronger players. I want to see if he can adapt to this table and really turn down the gear. Because I think that's really the proper way for him to do it at this particular table.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important to be playing hands in position against these kind of players.
Yeah.
Play bad, you lose.
Limped around here. 4-way action here. No pre-flop raise. Queen 10-9 with a couple of spades.
Well, Barry's got the best hand here with King 9 of diamonds.
And Mike is going to come out and bet here. He's going to bet with ace-deuce, absolutely nothing. And again, Barry is going to play it against Mike.
Yeah, but he never raises Mike. He just calls him. Plays so passively against him.
Turns a queen. It's
And it's
third
a spade. Yeah, I mean, it's such a scary card.
Oh, that's got to be the scariest card in the deck.
The win what?
He's going to bet again.
350.
He bets 350 here.
And Barry has got no information by just calling, and he's going to throw it away.
Yeah. See if Mike shows the bluff.
Yeah,
There it
but
is. I talk about that tell. He shows the ace-deuce offsuit.
He shows the bluff,
Yep.
usually mucks the winner.
What do you show? The ace is a offsuit?
Yosh says, what did you show? Ace-deuce offsuit? Exactly.
This is an odd game. How much? 660 by the button.
And Yosh has the button here. And Ed is going to buy the button. When you miss your blind, you can actually buy the button by posting the small blind and the big blind.
Yeah.
So in this case, it would be $60. And Mike is going to straddle in seat number 4. So Mike Wu is first to act. He's under the gun, and he's not going to play.
300.
And Frank Mariani's going to bring this one in for an open raise in second position with 7-4 offsuit. And I don't think anyone's going to get involved. Now, Ed's got ace-rag offsuit in the small blind. He's going to make the call. And that's going to bring Mike into the hand. Obviously, I like Mike's hands a little better. He's got 5-6 offsuit. Better than ace-3 offsuit, David Nolan Hold'em.
He's right.
Dead.
Yeah, we're going to see three-way action here. It's about a $1,000 pot.
7 jack.
Jack, 7 deuce here with a couple of clubs. Well, Frank has flopped the best hand here with middle pair.
I didn't know you can be so bent back.
Again, it's right around a $1,000 pot here. And Frank is going to come out and bet. He's going to bet 1,200. He's going to overbet the pot. He's got the best hand.
And these cards are right. If you're wondering, you're going, wait a second, they can't be playing
And he
4-7.
shows it. He shows the 4-7.
Unbelievable.
Again, Frank Mariani, co-owner of the Lakers with Jerry Buss. Someone else we've had on the show several times.
Jerry Buss, yeah.
Yeah.
Now Jerry Buss he loves playing limit hold'em.
Yeah.
No limit is not his game. Frank Mariani likes to play no limit hold'em.
7-4, you did that, Frank.
That's right.
What's that?
And it's going to hit the cut. I know. It seemed like
You knew it was
And obviously anybody that's been playing poker for as long as Frank Mariani's played, you're sure that he has a stud background as well.
130.
$130 raise here under the gun by Frank Mariani with a couple of ducks, pocket deuces, and Mike Wu's got pocket queens in the big blind. Eddie's going to call with 9s. Mike calls with queen 5, and Mike Wu immediately comes over the top here out of the blind.
Now this pot could get pretty big because you figure, I got to tell you, I think Frank's going to come in, that's going to bring in Ed, and that's going to bring in Corporation Mike.
And Mike almost has a hopeless hand here with queen 5 against pocket
He's got to
queens.
root for a couple of 5s or
Oh,
clubs.
look at this. Frank calls in between, and Ed pulls the limp re-raise on the button with pocket 9s.
Yeah.
He makes it 2,000.
I got to tell you, if you're Mike Wu, you love your hand here. There's no way Ed is just smooth calling with kings or aces, is there?
We know him too well,
He
Dave.
might have 10s there. He might have 9s. He might even have 7s. He could have ace-jack.
But the question now is, how do you proceed if you think that Ed would fold that hand to a push, 10s or 9s?
Well, at this point, he's already committed $2,000. I'm probably going to push in.
Really? Because Ed's got about almost 10,000 behind
Yeah, but
him.
Mike Wu doesn't.
Yep, he's got a 5,000 chip there, Dave.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
You're right. Okay.
He's got more chips. I just wonder how you play it.
In that case, if you've got $5,000 there,
Yeah.
you might just smooth call, see the flop, and play it accordingly.
And he does call.
And is that going to bring Frank Mariani in? Remember, this is a guy that likes to gamble.
This pot is already about $5,000. If Frank comes in, it's about $6,500.
It's okay, man.
Is he going to call? I think he's going to call this.
I think it's right then. Mike decided to screw it up and do another $10.
He's really having a tough go of it with this one. He's got pocket deuces here.
I mean, you think about it. Come on. He pays Kobe Bryant more just to walk in the building
Yeah.
than what this call is.
That blew it, huh?
pushing it over the edge.
And if he calls again, it's going to be a $6,500 pot here. And he's going to make the call, Dave. And here we go. Biggest pot of the night here pre-flop. Unbelievable.
6,500, 3 ways.
Mike Wu with by far the best hand. And he's got middle set. Wow.
You got to love your hand here. You really do. Because there's no way Ed
He
is...
checked it. He checked it.
There's no way Ed has got a set of kings here.
And Ed is going to bet $1,500 into a $6,500 pot, and Mike Wu immediately check raises all in. There's that $5,000 chip. He probably has about $8,000 or $9,000 in front of him. It's another $7,500 for Ed to call
And
here.
I like the play here, and I'm going to tell you why I like the play. If you put Ed on a range of hands, if he has tens, he's open-ended. If he has jacks, he has bottom set.
And did Ed call? He made the call. The turn's a 7. He needs a 10 and a 10 only, and it comes! Are you kidding me? He hits the 10 at the end.
Oh, that is
Oh,
disgusting.
my goodness. Wow.
Oh,
my God.
Now, Mike Wu moved in for almost $8,000 more.
I mean, just a little bit of a math problem there. It was $1,500, $3,000 more there, $9,500 plus another $8,000, and Ed makes the call. That's got to be
We're talking about a
$25,000 to $27,000 pot.
Well, you know what? We'll see exactly what's in front of Ed, because everything that's in front of Ed is all of Mike's money. And we're talking about a $26,000 to $27,000 pot, and Ed has just made. Remember, Ed bought in for $5,000 about a half hour ago. Wow, unbelievable! I can't believe Ed called it. You know what? I love the push by Mike Wu, and I was trying to point out. We leave that flop on there for 1 second. If you put Ed on a range of hands, I thought maybe he had 9s, 10s, jacks, or ace-king. And if he has ace-king, he's going to call. If he has 10s or jacks, he's probably going to call because it's open-ended, or he has bottom set. 9s are the only hand that I thought he would throw away. But what do I know? Look at Ed call it and hit the 10 anyway. Unbelievable poker here.
$25,500 pot. Basically, the money went in there. Oh, that's unbelievable. I think Mike Wu had about $11,000 in front of him. It all went in.
And you talk about having a bankroll. Some people can sit down in the game and they go, well, you know what, I can buy in for $5,000 or $10,000 because I won't lose it. I won't put my money in without the nuts. And you look at Mike Wu there. He bought in for 5. He had doubled through. He's up to about $11,000. And in one hand, he ends up losing to a 4-outer. Where he had redraw. Because remember, if the board paired on the turn, it's over.
Oh, it has to be on the flop.
Oh, my goodness.
You guys have like $80,000. He wants an extra $100.
King 3 here against Queen 7. Trip kings here for Mike Wu. And we're heads up between the blinds. Let's see what Mike is going to do. Well, maybe I think they're agreeing to chop it up here.
It was a good hand,
See a flop. And
Yeah.
I don't think the rake really has any consideration.
I actually
with these guys.
thought, well, there's no rake there. Obviously, it's a collection
Yeah, it's a
pot.
collection pot.
I actually think Mike said, he goes, I bet 100, and he said, okay, I fold. I showed him the hand. Remember, because Mike's got no chips in front of him, because they're all in front of Ed.
He's playing 5,000 behind. Again, one of the biggest hands in the history of Live at the Bike. That's got to be up there in the top 5, 25,500. And Ed's been a part of a few of them, Dave.
Yeah.
I remember a set of 4s with Barry earlier, maybe almost 6 months ago, when Ed makes a flush on the river as well.
That's got to make you sick inside. I mean, if you're in Mike Wu's spot, you literally, your stomach has to turn upside down. That is a $25,000 swing. Now, obviously, he only lost 11, but that 10 cost him $25K. Oh.
Corporation Mike is going to bring this one in for a raise of 10-8 of diamonds. Mike makes it 200. Mike Wu's going to smooth call with Queen Jack suited. And Yoshi's in there with a little suited connector, 3-4 clubs. Well, Mike's flopped an open-ended straight draw here, Ace Jack 9. Not a bad flop for 10-8. And he's going to bet. He checks. He did not bet the draw, and the turn is an ace, with an ace out there, Dave.
Wow, I'm
Kinda
really
surprising,
surprised, yeah.
And now he's going to bet. And I got to tell you, I don't think Mike Wu's going anywhere. I don't think he's going to bite. He's going to call with the jack. It's a $400 bet, and Mike Wu quickly calls here.
I got to tell you, the more I'm watching this game, I really think Corporation Mike's a little bit out of his element in this game.
And the river's an ace. And now Mike Wu has the full house. And Mike's going to bet 800, and this is an easy call for Mike
It's
Wu.
just an $800 gift.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I mean, I got to tell you, I'm really surprised that Mike didn't bet that flop with the ace out there as pre-flop raiser. What are you looking for with 10-8, right?
Yeah, I don't understand at all. And the way he played it, you know, once again, we point out, usually Mike is playing against pretty easy competition. And tonight, you know, he's got Mike Wu to his left. And he's going to have trouble against him all night long. Mike Wu has seen Mike's type before.
The usual Mariani crap.
Wow, what a night. Live at the Bike. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You're watching our whale night, 20-40 blinds. It's a $2,000 unrestricted bind, but this game is playing bigger than some of our 5,100 games used to play.
Well, that was a restricted buying game, of
Right,
course.
I mean, this game is playing
Oh, that's
huge.
my daughter. Yeah.
Pocket 10s here for Farhad. He's picked up some nice hands in the blinds, Dave.
And Mo has not played a hand all night long.
And Eddie's going to bring this one in for 200 with ace 9 of hearts. Mike Wu makes a smooth call with 4s. See if Farhad is just going to call here or he's going to re-raise. He just calls. And we're going to see this 800 and change here to the flop. Queen 7-3, and it looked like Frank Mariani with queen out flopped everybody. Queen 8.
He's got the nuts.
Ed's going to make kind of a weak $200 continuation bet. And Mike Wu makes it 500, and Frank calls. We talk about that weak bet inducing the raise, and you don't know where you're at, and Ed calls with ace-9.
Unbelievable.
The turn is a king. Frank is still good here.
I mean, it's amazing. Frank Mariani actually overcalls a raise with a pair of queens 8 kicker.
Gets checked around, and the river's a king.
5.
And Ed's going to bet 500 here. And with Frank behind Mike, does Mike think that Frank just had a flush draw?
Well, that's the problem. I think Mike thinks Ed's got nothing.
Right. And he makes the call.
And
But-
Frank's going to overcall.
Yeah, Frank overcalls, and I think Mike knows he's beat.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Now, let me ask you this. If you're Mike Wu, I think he knew exactly what was going on. We're talking about one of the best poker players in the world. He knew he had Ed beat. He also knew he was probably behind Frank, but he was hoping Frank had a spade draw. Was there any value? Remember, we're talking about Frank Mariani here. Is there any value if you know you have Ed beat, but you think you might be behind Frank Mariani, putting in like a little $1,000 raise there?
Well, it's a good thought. You know, I don't know if Frank can call with queen 8 there.
Right.
Yeah. But I think that Mike thought that maybe Frank was just on a flush draw that he missed, and I can just call here in between.
Well, sometimes you'll call that spot thinking the first player is bluffing, knowing the player behind you is not strong enough to overcall.
240.
Ed's going to raise it up here to 240 with, looks like ace
9.
9 of diamonds. And Mike Wu re-raises here with pocket 10s. He makes it 600 to go.
Okay, let's do it.
And Ed's going to come in here. He's got one overcard.
And this pot is quickly $1,000.
$1,200, $600.
Okay.
Yeah, re-raise.
Oh, wow.
Diamond draw here for Ed.
And is Ed going to play it passively, or is he going to raise this up? Because
He checks, Mike bets. Mike bets 1,200, and Ed is going to, he makes the call here.
it's always tough. You never know where Ed is at when he's calling you. Is he calling you with a 6, a diamond draw, what?
$3,600 pot that turns a 4. You wonder if Mike might want to keep this pot small, or he puts Ed specifically on a diamond draw.
He's going to move in.
He's going to push it in.
And I think Ed's going to call.
And Ed makes the call. And the river's an ace!
Oh, my.
And Ed sucks out again, and he's got all of Mike Wu's money again!
You got to be kidding
Again.
me. And look at Corporation Mike just shaking his head.
Oh, man.
Well, you know if Ed is hitting cards, he's going to gamble.
Wow.
There's no way he's going to throw that away.
Another pot.
Obviously, Ed was in better shape this time than he was with his pair of 9s. There he only had 4 outs. Here, he's actually got 12 outs. He can catch one of 3 aces or a diamond to win that one. Unbelievable. And Ed wins another, I want to say, $11,000 pot. Remember, Mike had about $5K, right?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
5,000 behind 5.
I hope so.
Straddle.
I hope so.
This is crazy.
Just drop some chips down below.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Raise it 300. Mike, you straddle,
Button
right?
moves over here to seat 2.
Okay. Mike, raise it 300.
It looks like Mike is going to...
Have it straddle and Mike raised it 800.
Mike is going to straddle... excuse me. I believe
Yeah, but that's your big one you just took in.
Mike is straddled here. And Barry has raised it to 300 with ace-queen.
Okay.
Ed quickly calls here with 9s. Mike Wu's got 8s here. He limped in.
Well, the way Ed is running, especially against Mike Wu, you imagine this flop will probably come out ace-9-8.
Mike, you got 5,000 behind?
Unbelievable. Here we go. 3 ways.
Maybe.
Queen 5-4. Well,
Nice flop, Barry Woods.
yeah. It's about a $1,000 pot here.
500.
And I believe Mike Wu is going to throw a $500 bet out here. He does, with 8s. Not a bad play. And Barry's going to raise him up right away here, it looks
And
like.
I really like the raise. And you wonder, you see the aggressive play by Barry Woods against Mike Wu. You wonder why he doesn't play it aggressive against Corporation Mike.
And Ed's thinking about coming in here.
Well, the way he's running, he'll probably hit his 9.
Look at what I'm throwing away.
Ed folds.
And he actually shows it to him as if it was a tough laydown. You got a bet and a raise, and you have pocket 9s. Now, we always talk about Mike Wu. He's such a good poker player. Does a player like that is he prone to tilting?
Well, I don't think we've ever seen him tilt on the show before.
Never. And you got to say, a lot of other players might tilt through their next 5,000, but meanwhile, he's put all his money in with the best of it.
Yeah.
Go to Osh. They have a special on ball fertilizers. You know.
I think your saliva works pretty good.
Button moves here to seat 9.
Unbelievable. If you want to email us, you can email us at live@thebike.com. We always appreciate it. Obviously, tonight we're not going to be responding to your emails as much as we normally do, paying attention to this phenomenal game. Seat 1 and 2, Yosh and Trish are taking a break here. So small blind is Ed, big blind is Corporation Mike. And the action is actually on Frank Mariani. And Frank's not going to play it. And Barry's going to raise it up again with ace-queen, and Farhad's going to call with the queen-jack. He's dominated. Barry raising it up with the ace-queen of diamonds, Farhad calling with the queen-jack of hearts. And we are going to see this.
Is Mike going to come in here with 7-10 offsuit?
You know, he loves playing against Barry, but he doesn't have much of a hand, and he's out of position. And we're going to see this heads up. Pot is $540.
Well, here we go. Well, there's the ace, and Farhad probably can easily get away from this. He's got a gut shot to the Broadway straight to the 10.
Backdoor hearts, obviously.
Barry bets 300.
And I don't mind this bet at all. Normally, you think that's a kind of a weakish bet. The pot's almost $600. You're betting 300. But in this case, you look at that board. It's not draw heavy.
And Farhad calls him.
Wow. Well, the 10 comes. Is Barry going to lose a lot of money?
Well, it turns to 7. Barry's still good here with the ace-queen.
Now, at this point, I'm going to put a little more money. I'm hoping my opponent's got ace-10, ace-9.
There it is, and Barry's going to take it down there. He shows the ace.
Takes it down.
I don't know. Election pot too? Yeah.
Button moves here to seat 9.
Why weren't you in the fucking game? You want to pay for me. 90. 90. You're paying for that.
And Button moves over here now to Ed in seat 3. Yosh and Trish are out of the game right now.
Okay, Far.
What happened?
Nothing.
Big blinds, Mike Wu. And Mike Wu's got to be probably stuck about 15,000 so far tonight, isn't he? Something
Yeah, well,
around
he's
that?
rebought now. I want to say he's stuck only about 11 or 12. Remember, he was up 6 right away.
Yeah.
But you got to look at it and go, yeah, I might only be stuck 11,
Yeah.
but I should have every single chip in front of Ed's chair. Ace King offsuit here for Farhad. He's gonna raise it up.
250.
He makes it 250 here. Now Mike has got that kind of trouble hand with Queen Jack offsuit here. Look at the new Mike there in this game. Gonna fold it out of
you
position.
see him starting to adjust to the game.
Barry's gonna call here with pocket 8s.
I don't mind that call at all. I really don't.
Here we go to the flop.
And well,
See if Barry comes out and leads here, Dave. Right into him.
it's a great bet if he does. That is a fabulous bet.
And there it is. Barry's gonna take it down.
We talk about this play all the time. You see that flop like that, you call with pocket 8s. You're not only calling for a set, but
Right.
you're calling, you know what, if it doesn't come out with an ace, a king, or a queen, maybe take a shot at it and see if your opponent's only got those high cards.
And here we go with another chip count.
Wow, look at that.
$81,000
Look at
the
Ed.
table. Ed's got 32,000 in front of him.
He's only been playing for 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness, let's take a look at the differences.
Oh, that's insane.
22,000.
Okay, so what's his hourly rate here? He made what? He's up 22,000 in like 36 minutes?
Well, my question is out there for people out there. I thought Ed actually, did he start with 10 or did he start with 5?
Started with
I think he
5.
started with 5.
180.
He started in with 5, doubled up on his first hand against Barry,
Yeah.
then doubled up again against Mike Wu, and then took Mike Wu's next buy-in.
Yeah, he might actually be up 27,000.
Take care of some business real quick.
Button moves here to seat 5. And it's just a load of chips over there for Ed. I mean,
You wonder
if
if
it
he's
is 27,000. Remember way back when he won a bunch of money? I don't even know if you did the show with me. It might have been Shirley. He got Damon to play over his chips. Do you remember that? Mike's got pocket kings.
Pocket
he's gonna raise.
kings.
Oh,
And Frank Mariani's going to call with a suited ace rag here.
Not
Heads
much
up.
value to that hand in this case. unless 2 5s come out.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Look at this. Set of kings for Mike, and Frank's got top pair and the nut flush draw.
You got to be
Look at
kidding
this.
me.
Just a smooth call here by Mike. Frank bets. The turn is a 6. Now Mike has filled up, and Frank's going to come out and bet again.
And Frank is not drawing dead. If an ace comes off, Frank can win this hand. He needs one of the remaining 2 aces to win this hand.
What an unbelievable flop. Mike didn't raise him. He's just smooth called. And he's still not going to raise him. He could have had all the money here.
2,000 more.
And I tell you,
Oh, wait a minute. He is going to raise him now. It's 2,000 more. He is going to raise him now.
now once that board pairs, that really hurts your spade draw. And
Frank makes a quick call, and this pot is about $8,000 here. Frank needs an ace and only an ace.
yes, exactly. Actually, a 6. No, 6 wouldn't do it. I'm sorry. I apologize.
An ace and only an ace. And the river makes him his flush, though.
Oh, my.
And I think he's going broke here.
Not even a question.
He's got
definitely
the
going
nut
broke.
flush, and Mike's got the full house.
And Mike's going to move all in. He knows that Frank has made his hand. He knows Frank has made his hand.
Frank's not leaving any money on the table.
No.
All in.
Mike moves all in. Frank calls, and Mike is going to win about a $16,000 pot with kings full. Frank's got the nut flush.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Unbelievable flop.
Ryan sticking in that little 6 of clubs there on the turn. Saving Corporation Mike. Oh, my. And Frank Mariani there. He is quickly down, by the way. He's probably down close to $20,000 tonight. Really had a bad go of it. You look at that kind of flop. Talk about a cold deck there. Ace-5 of spades. Flops top pair with the flush draw, then catches his flush on the river, but loses to kings full. Unreal. And I tell you, if an ace had fallen on the river, Corporation Mike might have flipped the table over. Talk about a man who has a temper.
But moves over here to Barry, and Frank Mariani might be done here, Dave.
Made his $15,000 contribution, and he is maybe not going to play anymore.
Wow. And again, going back about 6-7 months ago, when Ed went up a lot of money, he got Damon to play over his chips, and Frank commented about how it was kind of like the Swiss Guard coming over and playing on his chips. That was, I think, maybe last August or
Right,
something
anybody
like
familiar
that.
with Damon?
Yeah.
Damon's one of the tightest players when it comes to cash games.
No, put him there. No, put him there. Go ahead.
So we got confirmation that Ed bought for $7,000, so he's up about
He's
$25,000.
actually up 25,000,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Nah, he doesn't care.
Well, not a bad flop for Barry. He's open-ended here. Flop comes out 7-6-4.
What's he doing playing Jack 5 anyways for a limp on the button?
It's part of Barry's game. I just don't understand. I'm not sure why you're even in the hand.
And look what magical card could happen here. Mike bets 160. If Barry calls and a 9 comes, Mike has the nuts. And Barry
Barry
would
doesn't
not
have-
have a
yeah.
straight. I'm sorry. Got a little excited.
If a
there,
5 and a 9 comes, though,
Dave. Yeah. Turns a king.
we're always looking for the action card.
Yep. Mike checks, and Barry checks behind him.
Well, Jack High is good right now.
Well,
Pair of jacks.
Backs into a jack.
And is Mike going to bluff at it? I think Mike is going to bluff at it because he has to. And Barry's going to probably quickly call.
Yep. $400 bet and a call.
10 high.
Mike, kind of a little laugh there.
I can see. Just want to clear it up for you so you can give me one of these. What the fuck were you doing here with that hand shit?
Button moves over here to seat 8.
I did not. I heard it.
Pretty good.
And Yosh and Trish have been away from the table here for a bit.
At one point,
Look at the chips in front of Ed.
Hey, you wonder, is he going to color him up and get some $1,000
Yeah,
chips?
look at those chips.
$27,000 in front of him. And you know, now that Mike's got probably close to, I want to say Mike's got close to $18,000 or $19,000 in front of him, we've got the makings for some really big pots.
Yeah.
It's applicable right now, right?
exactly.
Remember, Mariani left, but he left without his chips.
Exactly. Don't start.
Limped around here.
Hey, at the end of the day, though, he still owns the Lakers. How cool
Remember,
is that?
and this night is brought to us by Poker Blue. What an unbelievable event here.
I don't have your money. I
Ed's
want
frolicking
the
in your chips over here.
Looks like Mike is straddled here.
Double me up before the end of the night.
And we're going to see it limped around. We need to see Mike's cards.
Yeah, I checked.
Three players.
Three-way action
Every
here.
time you get up to go smoking, that horseshoe moves a little bit further out.
Oh, it does?
At some point, it's going to drop right out. Ask Mike.
Every time I
Ace
go out,
King
I
8 here on
make
the
sure I
flop.
push it right back in.
Well, I know your hand is up there. I don't know what it's doing.
Check, check. I don't even know what I've done.
Checked around here.
Shouldn't stop you from playing it.
Turns to king. Nobody has anything here, Dave.
Check,
Okay.
I mean, after that run of hands, you got a whew, unbelievable.
check, check, check. Have a night.
Nice hand.
Farhad's going to take it down there.
Yep.
Pair of 9s on the river. Button moves over to seat number 9. That's Mo. Mo has not played a hand all night long. But we talk about it in this game. You don't necessarily have to play a lot of hands to win a lot of money.
Button moves over here to Mo. And look at Trish comes back and she looks at Ed and she's like, Jesus,
Yeah.
what happened?
Oh, my.
How much do I pay?
Unbelievable. You know, it's funny. I was looking at the lineup and I was thinking, you know what? Who can I buy a piece of in this game? My first thought was maybe I can buy a piece of Mo or a piece of Trish. I should have gotten Ed.
Well, Mo might have one of the first playable hands he's seen tonight. He's got King Queen offsuit
On the button.
on the button. Well, Mike will raises, and probably Mo's going to fold there now.
Yeah.
He does.
Well, that's not a hand you want to be calling a raise with, is it? Even on the button.
Mike Wu is raised with ace-5 offsuit here.
Mo would more likely call with pocket 5s or a suited connector than king queen offsuit.
And here we go. Ed's in the hands. $700 to the flop. Well, Ed's got a pair. Farhad's got a gut shot to the 9 with overcards. 10-3-8 on the flop.
Ed also another person, obviously, the money doesn't really mean anything to him. It's more about the competitive nature of playing poker. He wants to win.
He bets 300 here, and Farhad makes a quick call with his draw. The turn is a king. Farhad is now open-ended, but Ed picks up a heart draw. And the river's a king, and the 3 is good.
Now, that's what's interesting. Ed is going to try to bluff at it. He thinks he needs to bluff at it. And the interesting thing is, rarely do you see Farhad actually bluff at pots.
Yep.
He's a pretty straightforward player. He will call you down all day. I like to compare him actually to kind of Allen in a weird way.
Unbelievable action here at Live with the Bike, and we're only through about the first hour. And again, you can head over to pokerblue.net and check out their $110 tournament starting July 6th. Every day, 7 o'clock Pacific time, win your way into Team Poker Blue and a seat into
So we're
the World
talking,
Series.
so 10 p.m. in New York, East Coast,
Yep.
7 p.m. Pacific time, and you can win one seat into the main event of the World Series of Poker
Yep.
and have a chance at winning $10 million. And also, if you win, you are on Team Poker Blue.
Yep.
We'll get into that in a second.
King, Queen, 9 here on the flop. Trish is going to bet here with the 5 of spades, pocket 5s. And that's probably going to do it.
I want you to know.
Yeah, Ed obviously have a lot of respect for Trish's
Yeah.
game.
Show it to her.
Throws away his big draw.
What is that? What's a fire that kind of floats? Oh, that's
I got to tell you, only 1 hour into the show, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I never jumped up and down out of my seat so many times.
An insta-call with pocket 9s. That's one for the ages there.
twice.
Wow. And Ed's got the button here.
I mean, you wonder what Ed was thinking. What does Mike Wu have here? Obviously not thinking really, just thinking, hey, I can catch a 10.
Yep. Farhad's going to bring this one in with a little speculative holding here. He makes it 200 to go with Jack 8.
5 minutes.
And he's going to take it down there.
And we talk about a game where you have some more of like a little bit calling stations. Now that Frank Mariani's left, the texture of the game has changed a little bit. But in a game like this, there probably isn't much value to straddling.
Yeah.
Because obviously, even if you raise out of the straddle spot, you're probably going to get called in 3 or 4 spots, and now you're playing a hand in a raised pot out of position. And we get Action Kenny Win in the game. And I say that as sarcastic as possible.
Yeah.
He is anything but action, but he's quite a good player, very tight, very aggressive. Knows how to play poker. He's a professional poker player. Plays primarily cash games. But obviously adding a Kenny Win into the game definitely changes the texture of this game.
Who made it 100.
No, just a blind. Just a blind.
And that's part of playing poker. Obviously, as you play, you've got to change your game. Frank Mariani out. Kenny win in. Okay, I'll change up a little bit.
Ed's going to bring it in for 200 with 7 deuce suited here, 7 deuce of hearts. Now, Barry's in the blind with ace-10 offsuit. He's going to make the call.
Me and Barry.
And we're heads up here for about 460. Well, Barry's got top pair. He checks.
All right.
And Ed's going to continuation bet. And Barry looks like he's going to make a check call here with ace-10. And the turn's a deuce. Ed now has some outs. And Barry check calls the flop, and now he leads into the turn.
I like the play, a little stop-and-go play there by Barry. And I like it. I really do.
He bets 900 here into a pot that's about 1,100.
I think Ed might call this. I think Ed's looking at it going, wait a second, you've confused me. Did you pick up a spade draw?
The way his night is going, if he calls, you're almost certain that a deuce or 7 is going to come off on the river while he gets away from it.
Yeah, and the river actually would have been a 6 of clubs. Would not have gotten there. I like the way Barry played that hand.
It's the 6 of clubs on the river because he didn't call the turn.
Right. Of course.
Right.
I like the way Barry played that hand. I think that a hand like that is a pretty good stop-and-go kind of play.
Yeah.
You get a little information by the size of the bet by Ed. You call him. You don't want to build the pot up too big, and then you see another safe card. Okay, I'll put a little money in there and see what happens.
Button moves here to seat 5. $160 raise here by Mike with King Jack offsuit. Mike Wu is going to call with ace-7 offsuit. We talk about sometimes Mike raising in late position. You might call a raise with a hand that you might not even limp in with. Mike is called with an ace-7 here. Oh, man. Incorporation Mike's got trip kings, and Mike has a pair. And if Mike bets here, he can build himself a little pot. He's going to bet 200 right into it. And I don't think Mike Wu's going anywhere.
That's a small bet, though. I got to tell you, if I'm Corporation Mike, remember, he's not playing with boys here.
Mike Wu calls. The turn's a 3.
If he bets a pot-sized bet there, I don't think Mike Wu thinks he's got a king.
He checks, and now Mike checks. And Mike Wu is going to bet. The problem here, though, is if Mike check raises, Mike Wu is going to get away from the hand. If Mike just kept leading into him, he probably would have made more money.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Mike Wu put one more chip in this pot.
Well, Mike just is going to check call the turn, and the river's a 4. Now is he going to lead the river?
You're kidding. Oh, my God.
Oh, I can't believe that. He checks.
Well, he's trying. He knows he's playing against a world-class player. He knows if he bets into Mike Wu, he knows Mike's not going to call him. And look at this. Mike Wu is actually going to value bet this, thinking maybe he can get called by ace-queen.
But Mike is going to check raise. I thought that Mike might go into a little shell. He's going to play a check raise. Maybe he's trying to represent Miss Spades. He played it so cagey. Wow, he's going to check raise them all in. And Mike Wu is put to the test. Unbelievable.
I got to tell you, I'm surprised.
And Mike Wu has called.
Wow.
And Mike Wu has been broken for the 3rd time tonight. What a peculiar way that hand went down.
I got to tell you, I'm really, really surprised. I didn't like the way Corporation Mike played the hand, but, I got to hand it to him. He got a lot more of Mike Wu's chips than I would have gotten. He really played the hand kind of strangely. I think it confused Mike Wu, and he ended up getting all of Wu's chips.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Got to hand it to Corporation Mike there.
Little email here from Dave Jones. He says, Mike Wu has class. He doesn't celebrate when he wins. He doesn't get mad when he gets sucked out on. That's the way grown-ups do it.
I love that. His reaction when Ed sucked out and busted him for the 2nd time in just 10 minutes was to smile and call for chips. And look at that. Mike Wu loses another $5,000 there. Just goes, okay, more chips I need.
Well, Mo's coming into a potty. He's just limped in here with ace-queen suited. Unbelievable.
Well, he's actually in the big
stuff.
blind. And he's raised out
I
of the
see.
big
Yeah,
blind.
now he's going to raise. I thought he was under the gun.
Right.
And is Ed going to come in here with a couple of 6s? He makes the call.
Well, Mo trying to pick up some dead money, and it's not going to work. He's got a call from Ed. You know what, though? If there's anybody at this table that's got Ed's number, it's Mo.
Oh, it's me, my buddy.
About $1,000 pot here. King 9-9. Well,
Not a great flop for Ed.
but Mo's going to continuation bet, of course, here. He bet 700 into about $1,000 pot. Is Ed going to continue on with 6s? He's been paying attention to the fact Mo has not played a hand all night long.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can beat with 6s here. You can't beat ace-king. You can't beat a big pocket pair.
And Ed calls.
Ed's going to call, though.
You got to think now, Mo, is Ed on clubs here? What does he have? Turns a 5. Is he going to give up? Check, check. And the river is a 10.
And it checks again,
Mo
and
gives up. Sixes are going to win it.
Ed takes it down. And we just talked about it. I just said how there's not much value to straddling, and you see there how Mo builds himself a pot out of position with a drawing hand. Doesn't hit anything, and he gets somebody like Ed who's not going to go away with just a pair of sixes. Unbelievable night of poker. Live at the Bike. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hanson. We do this every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 night Pacific time. Wednesday's always our whale game. Friday's another big night. Usually our 10-20 game. $1,000 minimum buy-in. We usually have about $30,000 or $40,000 on the table.
And Mike Wu's got pocket aces. He's going to make it 300 to go, and this time he's not going to get any action with it. And Yoshi's been gone for a while here.
Hey, how are you, Martha?
It's a mugshot, man. Most one.
Good look of Mike Wu.
This is how much you like me, huh?
Strato. Here.
Button moves over here to Mo in seat 9. Straddled pot here by Corporation Mike. I agree with you. I really don't like the way that Corporation Mike played that hand. I think he got lucky that he played it so unorthodoxly that he got paid off.
I mean, but you got to hand it to him, though. He played it so unorthodox that it confused me when he got paid off. I mean, I thought the little $200 bet, then the check, and then the check raise, I thought it really smelled like a king, but obviously we see the cards.
More about this at the end of the hand. And then we're going to ask you about the river bet by Mike Wu. Four-way action here. It's limped around. 10-9-7. Oh, nice flop here for Trish. She's got 8-10, top pair, and an open-ender. She's going to bet 250. Now, Mike Wu's got ace-8. He's going to make the call. Chasing the same draw. Trish has got backdoor heart possibilities as well, and she picks up the backdoor heart draw.
Let me ask you this. You wonder, is Mike Wu playing it a little strange? I mean, he plays mostly mixed games. And he's playing a little, I mean, am I going to call Trish with a one-liner to a straight when it's so obvious? If the jack or the 6 come, am I really going to get paid off by a player as good as Trish?
I got 7 jacks.
Let me ask you about the ace-7 river bet there. Now, you said at the time it was a river bet. I was a little bit confused. I know Corporation Mike is capable of playing trip kings that way or making a check raise big river bluff at the end. I might check ace-7 down there. If he's betting, is he trying to get Corporation Mike off of pocket 9s or 10s? That's my question. What are you going to get called by if that's a value bet with ace-7?
Well, obviously it's always a fine line between looking like a genius and an idiot when you're talking about poker. I'll say that I think Mike might have called him with a hand as bad as ace-queen high.
King 4-10 here.
The problem is obviously when you are betting on the river with those marginal hands, you open yourself up to a big check raise, and then you're put to the test.
I'm a little surprised that Mike Wu bet the river there. Turn is a 6. Ed is going to come out and bet here. And a quick call by Mike, and the river's a 7. Bet and a call here again, and Mike's going to win it with ace-10.
I mean, I got to tell you, I really thought, Corporation Mike threw a $200 bet on the flop, right? Mike Wu called. Then Corporation Mike checked, and Mike Wu threw a $500 bet. I honestly thought that was the last chip Mike Wu was going to put in that pot. I didn't think he'd put one more penny into that pot, and I was wrong. Dead wrong.
And I thought, well, yeah, but I also thought that Mike was going to play it as a check raise on the turn, which I think really lets Mike Wu off the hook. I think probably the best way maybe Mike to play that hand is just to keep betting. Now, the thing there with the river, I'm just so surprised that Mike Wu bets the river there. I think what probably should have happened is he checked behinds, and we throw our arms up about how badly Corporation Mike played the hand. Instead, he gets a bet, and he calls a check raise, and Mike looks like a genius.
I mean, you wonder, the only thing I just don't understand is, you wonder when you bet 500 on the turn, what did Corporation Mike call you with? Remember, the board was king, 9 blank.
There were a couple
king,
of spades
7.
out there.
Okay.
Now, Mike is going to bet out here. He's got top pair, and Mike was called him next to act. He's got a gut shot wheel draw and a flush draw here. So this is not a dry flush draw. Mike Wu also has the straight draw to the 5 with a turn to jack. Mike bets 200 here.
Kind of a smallish. This is kind of a smallish little.
And
I
Mike
want to
Wu
keep
is
the
going
pot
to raise
small.
here on the come. He's going to make it 700, and a quick call by Corporation Mike. Pot's over 2,000. And the river's a 4, and Corporation Mike is good here. And Mike Wu is totally missed. He's going to be forced to fire at the river, and he bets. He bets 900, and a quick call here by Mike, and Corporation Mike has him again with the ace-5. That's
Mike
really
Wu.
a bad river card for Mike Wu also to bluff. Corporation Mike now thinking, well, maybe there's a possibility of a chop. Now the board is now paired with Jack up
Exactly.
there.
Thank you.
Although I don't think Mike Wu is raising a hand worse than Ace Jack on the turn. Do you?
Well, he just raised. You mean?
I mean,
he just semi-bluff.
I'm just saying it's either a semi bluff or he's raising with Ace King or Ace Queen. I don't think the 4 is going to save me if he actually had me beat. The 4 is certainly not a scary card, that's for sure.
Question is, do you think Mike Wu would just smooth call the flop with Ace Queen with a couple people behind him though? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe he would have raised on the flop.
He might have.
Corporation Mike is going to raise. He's got a couple of red aces, and he makes kind of a little smallish 130 raise. Mike Wu calls him with 6-3 of hearts. And here we go again. Heads up. Queen, 8, queen here.
And is Mike Wu going to try to make a move on Corporation Mike here? He is almost drawing dead. Look at the percentages, 96%.
Yeah, he's not going to get involved there out of position.
You never know. And Corporation Mike takes it down.
Yeah, that's true. What pair do you have? Should have checked it, let you hit it straight on. What pair do you have? Later.
Button moves here to seat 5 to Mike Wu.
What pair
Jack 7.
Jack 7.
About halfway through the show here. Show again brought to us by Poker Blue. Check out their website. Join in their $110 tournament starting July 6th at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Win your way into the World Series of Poker and get on Team Poker Blue. Mike's going to raise it up here to 350 with ace 7. He's going to take it down.
Show you one.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
Great email here from Sarah Pollock saying, just found out about your show yesterday. Just want to say, wow. As a dealer from Lake Tahoe, just want to thank you for broadcasting a real poker game. Best wishes. Keep up the good work. P.S. We got a 25-50, 10,000 minimum buy-in and up here if you want to take the show on the road. Thanks for the warm words. Barry's got ace king here. Mike's going to bring it in for a raise with queen 4 of clubs. And here we go again between Barry, and he just makes a smooth call between Barry and Mike.
Now, fortunately for Corporation Mike, he is not dominated here. He is dominated by Farhad, but not by Barry Woods.
Three-way action here. Well, Jack 9 deuce. It misses just about everyone.
Well,
Farhad's got
Farhad-
a nice little open-ended straight draw here.
And that's a great open-ended because it is a rainbow board, Jack 9 deuce rainbow.
And Barry makes the check call with ace king here, Dave. Jack 9 deuce. He's going to get involved with ace king.
And you just notice Barry's style against Corporation Mike. He just loves to check call him. And I just don't understand exactly what he's doing.
The turn here is a 6.
And that changes nothing.
You both called, huh? Yeah. How come you just called? I was betting again. Wow.
Barry does have the best hand here. But if he hits a king, Farhad has the nuts. It's still kind of that Padoogie board here with 4
It
cards
is,
on
exactly.
board.
No flush possible. If Farhad hits his hand, it is the nuts.
And Mike going to fire again. He bets 1,000.
And Barry gets no information by checking, calling, and then checking again. He has the best hand here, but how does he know that?
He has called Mike before with a hand as weak as just ace king high. But with Farhad in there behind him. But Farhad's going to call.
And you wonder, is Corporation Mike going to fire on the river if he misses?
The worst card for Mike here is if it's a queen and it goes check, check. Well, the river's a deuce. Everybody's missed. Farhad checks. Is Mike going to fire one more time?
Well, you got to start thinking, what do you put Farhad on? Remember, he's going to call you with a jack or a 9. You got to hope that he has queen 10 or 10-8.
And he bets 2,000. He's fired 3 bullets into this pot, and he's going to take it down there. Wow.
And he'll show this bluff, I'm pretty sure. No, he didn't. He decided not to that time. You guarantee you if it was Barry Woods only, he shows that bluff.
I got to think, if Farhad's not in hand, does Barry call him on the turn with ace king?
Maybe, who knows? And obviously that's the problem with playing your draws somewhat passively. Checking and calling, checking and calling. If Farhad ever actually put money in the pot, he wins.
Yoshi's going to enter the game here, re-enter through a straddle. You can do that, actually, as opposed to posting dead here in the straddle spot.
And once again, a collection pot is $11 per person for every half hour, so it's $99 for the table, and the winner of this pot will pay it, as long as the pot is at least $500. And in this game, there's never a problem with that.
Limped around, Yosh checks it out of the straddle, Mo's in the hand, we're going to see it 5 ways, $400 pot, 80 times 5. 6, deuce, 10 here, a couple clubs. Mike Wu's got a nice hand here, overcards and a club draw.
And Corporation Mike's got top pair, though.
And look at this, Mo's going to come out and bet with middle pair. And let's see how Mike's going to play it.
Mo's played it so tight, he figures, you know what, maybe this missed everybody. Maybe I can represent.
Mike calls. Now, we have seen Mike Wu raise here as a semi-bluff between just a bet and a call here. Might he do it here again?
Well, his hand's pretty strong. I imagine you're going to see a raise here.
And he is going to raise. That's going to easily get Mo out of the hand. Now, again, the issue is, does Mike get out with top pair weakish kicker?
Right. And the action's on Farhad. I don't think he knows.
No, I don't think he knows either. He folds.
And it's an easy laydown for Mo here. It really is, especially when Mike calls between.
And let's see what Mike is going to do here.
I think Mike's going to call this.
It's 1,000 more.
And I believe, I want to say Wu is only another 1,200 or 1,300 behind.
Unless he's got another big chip under that stack of brown there on the right-hand side of the screen.
See if we can get an update on how many chips he has left.
And Mike is going to push him in. And this is an easy call if Mike Wu is on the short stack.
And Mike Wu is a slight favorite here. It's pretty much a coin flip with 2 cards to come.
This pot is, again, going to be like $8,000. Unbelievable. Now, might they run it a couple times here? Nope. Turns to 7. Mike Wu needs a king, a jack, or a club.
Not going to come.
Does not get there. And Mike is going to win it with 2 pair.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
You talk about running bad. You look at Mike Wu, the way he has put his money in, either as an overwhelming favorite or a small favorite, almost every single time.
Yep.
And he has yet to win one of these. I'm not sure what the odds are, but if you were to take, okay, lose a 4-outer, lose a 12-outer with 1 card to come, be a favorite here, and lose all of them, it must be like 1 in maybe 200 times.
Well, the question now is, when we talk about game selection and how you lengthen a session as a professional poker player, if the game is so good and you're running so bad, do you ever still get up?
Well, you've got to realize sometimes your table image is such that you look like almost like a little piece of cod to sharks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, they're just looking at you like, okay, salivating over Mike Wu.
Now look at this.
The way it's running.
Corporation Mike has limped in with ace-queen. Mike Wu raised to 200. Mo called. And is Mike going to pull the limp re-raise? He does. He's going to limp re-raise with ace-queen of diamonds. Mike Wu brought it in with ace-queen. Mo called in between. And Corporation Mike has pulled the limp re-raise.
And how much is Mike Wu behind?
5,000.
5,000 again, okay.
And he's going to call. And I got to tell you, if Corporation Mike stays with the aggression, chances are the flop isn't going to hit anybody. We've got 3 aces dead and 2 of the queens are dead.
Right.
Here we go.
Well,
And Mike's
flop.
picked up diamonds and overcards.
He's on a complete free roll
and
here.
he's moved all in. All in, and Mike Wu gets out of there. Unbelievable.
The turn would have been the 5 of spades. The river would have been the 10 of diamonds, and Corporation Mike would have gotten there. And Mike Wu, I just want to make sure, does Mike Wu know this is not a restricted buy-in game? I remember we used to have our whale game that he used to play in was a 5,100
Yeah,
game,
maybe
which is
Donna can ask him
$5,000
there.
restricted buy-in game. Because he's continually buying it for
Yeah.
5,000. You wonder if he would change that and maybe buy in for 10 or
Yeah.
even 20 now.
Yeah, but remember, when we did do that game, you could continue to buy in for
Yeah.
10 and 20,000 after that. So I'm sure he knows, Dave.
Right. Limp in here from Corporation Mike. Yoshi Nakano back in the game. He has bought himself the button.
Limped around here.
And the only thing about Ed Shanazarian, he's great for the game, but he is prone to taking long breaks.
Raise 300.
We get a $300 raise here by Trish out of the big blind with 10s. And it's funny, you know, kind of on an aside, Live at the Bike has been, you know, going for a year and a half, and any longtime viewers will kind of know a little bit of a side story when Ed wins a lot of money. people used to complain in the big Wednesday night game when he would leave the table. Kind of Bobby Villan would used to complain. I don't know, Mike Wu, he seems like too much of a classy guy for that to even come into his thought process.
You got to realize that he is not a professional poker player. He is
Right.
not going to sit here and grind it out for 10 hours, and you can't expect him to. Be happy when he comes to the casino. He's here to have a good time. And for him, he wants to play for a half hour, get up for 20 minutes,
Yeah.
kind of socialize, talk to his friends.
Talk with Maria, the cocktail waitress.
Exactly.
You know, have a
He's
good
here
time.
to flirt. He's here to have
Yeah.
a good time.
Yeah,
And he'll sit down and play more.
yeah.
And that's the only frustrating thing sometimes. If he does give you a bad beat, oftentimes he's not back in the game and you can't get it back from him.
Now, did Farhad and Seed 8 bring this one in for a raise? 7-3 of hearts. He does not continuation bet here. Jack 8-4 rainbow on the flop.
And Yosh is probably going to bet this on the button, you'd imagine.
No.
He checks it. Wow.
Turns a king.
And now it's a scary card, isn't it?
Yeah, he had top pair there, Dave.
And as far as going to take a shot at it, he's
He
now picked
doesn't.
the heart
He picked
draw.
up a heart draw. And now is he going to check call? We've talked about kind of this. He's kind of more of a check call mode, Dave.
Yeah.
Not the best strategy. And the river's a 6, and you wonder if Yosh is going to.
If you're Yosh, I got to tell you, I bet this for value. I think Farhad's got 9s.
Really, you don't think he would bet with pocket 9s on the flop? As the pre-flop raiser?
Remember, he's a pre-flop raiser. He didn't bet on the jack. He didn't bet on the king. What do you put him on? He's obviously scared. He obviously doesn't really like his hand.
And Yosh is going to throw a little value bet in. Obviously, it's not going to get called.
I mean, maybe he's got ace-queen or ace-10. Okay. But you never know. Sometimes these players call you. And the funny thing is, if Farhad bets the turn, I think he might win the pot. Yosh putting him on, say, king, queen, or ace-king. And obviously he throws it away. This game is definitely not a game for the timid. We talk about it all the time. If you are playing with scared money, it's usually going to be lost money. Obviously, nobody in this game really is scared to lose.
Button moves over here to Trish in seat 2. Kind of the discussion at the table has quieted down a bit here, Dave.
Well, it's gotten a little bit more of a serious tone. You know, in the beginning, when somebody loses $2,000 or $3,000, it's kind of all jokey. Well, now Mike Wu is down almost $20,000, probably more than that. A lot of money being changed hands here. And we had a raise out of, I believe, Mo. And he raised it up with ace-queen, and Yosha smooth called him with ace-king. Now, fortunately for Mo, there's another ace dead. The likelihood of that lone ace coming out is very slim.
You wonder if everyone misses here, can Mo represent?
Well,
Oh, there's the king. King 10-4 with a couple of diamonds. Seems like Mo is playing it really conservative tonight. Is he going to bet? Nope.
You wonder if an ace had fallen.
Well, of course
Does
he's
Mo
gonna-
lose a
yeah.
lot of money?
Yoshi's going to bet 600 here. That's going to get it done.
And you got to love this bet by Yosh. First of all, he's betting it because he's in position. He also has the best hand.
I got to tell you, if the case ace comes out, whoa, wait a minute. And Mo is going to check call here with ace-queen, with the ace of diamonds. He's going to represent diamonds. The turn's a 4.
Well, if he starts
And
taking-
now he's going to throw a little bet out here on the turn. He bets 900 here.
It's kind of an odd play from Mo, isn't it? You wonder, was Mo obviously, he thinks maybe my ace is good, obviously my jack is good, and if a diamond comes, can I represent? I know Yosh doesn't have the nut flush draw because I have the ace of diamonds in my hands.
Yoshi's going to call, and you wonder if Mo is going to give up if a diamond does not come out.
And it's an easy call.
Or does he put Yosh on diamonds? And the river's a king, and Yoshi's got kings full.
And it's an easy check fold. Oh, wow.
Wow, he's going to put bet. He's going to bet 600. I don't really know. I guess that's a bet maybe to get Yosh off of... say-
Queen jack?
Remember, Mo has the ace of diamonds, so Yosh doesn't have the nut flush draw.
Yeah, what are you trying to get him off?
Yeah, I don't understand this at
I
all.
mean, what hand better than... I don't understand.
Yosh is going to raise, and that's it.
I love Mo's game. I have a lot of respect for it, but you think about it there. You look at ace-queen. Obviously, if Yosh has queen-jack, you don't need to bet. I just don't understand it. You're not going to get Yosh off of a 10 there, right? I mean, the board's paired now with a king. You wouldn't put Mo on a king. So you're not going to get him off a 10. I just don't understand the play at all.
Button moves over here to Mike. And Barry is open raised with Queen 8 suited. Mike really, I mean, Barry likes to raise with Queen up and down suited sometimes in any position. Mike is smooth call with 9s. And Ace King here for Kenny Wynn. He's at the table, Dave. Never knew it. And he's going to just call. And here we go. Three-way action here. It's about a $450 pot. Well, there's the king for Kenny Wynn.
Uh-oh, set of 9s for Corporation
and
Mike.
Corporation Mike's got middle set, and Kenny Wynn's on the short stack. He's going broke.
Against Corporation Mike? Yes, he is.
He's going broke.
All the money's going in here.
And how is Mike going to play it?
Kenny even has the ace of diamonds.
I got to tell you, if Barry bets here, Mike should raise right away. I want to play a big pot with this hand. And I love the raise here by Mike, because if Barry had ace-king, you got to build yourself a big pot and win a big pot against Barry.
And the problem with Kenny Wynn here is he doesn't get any information because it's Barry betting and it's Mike raising Barry. And he's going to move all in here.
Yeah. But I really love the raise right away by Mike. Build yourself a big pot against Barry. Play a big pot with this hand against Barry.
Yeah, and Barry throws it away, and Kenny Wynn is really in tough. He needs running diamonds.
I'll tell you what.
Quick call here.
Or a running, I guess running aces or a king and an ace.
Yeah.
Obviously running cards, and that's it. And you can see the overwhelming favorite that Corporation Mike is.
Turns an ace. Well, Kenny could catch an ace or king here.
No.
Oh, and the river's a 6, and Mike is going to win another one.
And you talk about the inevitable. Even if Mike had kind of slow played it a little bit, the ace of spades comes on the turn, and there's no way Kenny's going anywhere.
I love. Now we were critical of Mike with the king jack earlier in the night. I cannot stress enough how important that raise is on the flop, because if Barry Woods has ace king or aces, forget about the fact that the ace is a turn here. You know he's not going anywhere. And Mike needs to get that pot up. He needs to play a big pot and get all of Barry's money.
How about if Barry Woods had king jack there? I don't know if it goes away from that.
King queen suited. So it's a wonderful raise on the flop.
And one of the reasons it's a great raise also is even if Barry has nothing, the flop is a king high. In a raised pot, it's very likely that the king hits somebody.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Trish is going to bring it in for a $100 raise here with ace-10 of diamonds.
And Ed is going to call with a dominated hand. He has 10-8 offsuit, and we're going to see this heads up. Pot's about $400 to the flop.
And Ed is back in the game.
Yep, both players have missed. A little continuation bet by Trish, and I imagine that's going to be the end of it.
You know, we talk about in this game, especially Dave, as you and I have more and more experience playing in games like this and know when to hold them, how important it is to control pot size when you have a hand as weak as one pair, and how important it is to build pot size when you have a hand as strong as a set.
Now, the only thing, obviously, has a little caveat for people is you've got to realize when you're playing against good players, they'll start recognizing when you're trying to control pot size, and they'll recognize when you're trying to build pot size. And if you're trying to control pot size and they see it, well, then they can probably bluff you off that hand.
Yeah. But remember, this is against really the only best that can really put the pictures together and understand what you're doing.
100%.
Ed's going to pop it up here to 200 with Queen 10 suited. Barry's not going to call with Jack 10 offsuit.
That's an easy, at a position Jack 10, easy lay down.
Now is Yosh going to call with Ace 10? And he does. And we're 3 ways here. Jack 6-8, nice. Farhad's got the nut flush draw, and is he going to play it as a check call here again?
And that's the problem. If he ever bet his draw, he would take it down right now. You've got to be willing to put money in the pot without a made hand.
Ed's going to make a $200 continuation bet.
And Farhad's going to call.
Worst card for Ed here would be the 9 of diamonds. He's got a gut shot here. And the turn is the 5 of diamonds. Farhad's got the nuts. Check, check. And the river now is a king. Ed has absolutely nothing. Farhad checks it again. He checked the nuts twice. Then we talk about building a pot up with the nuts or making the minimum with the nuts.
And you talk about it, there are players that are somewhat... You look at a player like Ed, and he is not a bluffer. He is a caller, okay? Mike is a bluffer. I'm not going to induce a bluff against Ed there. There's no way. I'm going to try to build myself a pot. Farhad makes the absolute minimum on that hand, and I'm not sure if Ed even calls a turn bet, but he might call a $300 or $400 bet. You never know.
You never know. He had a draw. He had a gut shot to the 9, Dave.
Sometimes that's good enough for him to call.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you want all white? You want just white?
Mike got white. Cheers, Mike.
limped around here. Yoshi's straddled once again. It's 80 to go.
Now, can he win his rebought? I assume he's rebought for the minimum $2,000. Kind of doing that short buy. This is not a bad game to play that kind of short buy strategy. See if you can double up once or twice real quick.
So limped around here 4 ways in the straddle. $320 pot. King deuce 7. Mo's got a weak king. Is he going to lead out right away? He does. That's probably going to get it down here.
Yeah, Mo finally pops his cherry.
Yep.
Wins his first pot of the night. I'm happy to say that I was here when Mo popped his cherry.
Button moves over here to seat 8. Got a little over an hour left in the show. This one's really,
One
as
for the
people have
ages.
said, yeah, an archive classic. Sometimes these shows come around. Unbelievable stuff here.
Obviously, live at the bike. We are live, unedited, unscripted. You never know what you're going to see. But I tell you, it is better than anything else out there. Not even a question.
I see that there's a best TV poker commentator thread going over on 2+2.
Really?
Yeah, I wonder if we can get considered for that. Limp here by Mike Wu. Button limps here in seat 8. Mo is going to limp. We're going to see 4-way action here.
Bart never above plugging himself.
Got it. Queen 10-3 here.
Well, Farhad's got a queen.
Weak queen on the button. Gets checked to him. He's probably going to bet here with top pair.
Well, Mo's going to bet right out. No, I'm sorry. Actually, Farhad announced the bet, and Mo called with king 10.
Okay, so a check call here by Mo.
Right. Pot is quickly $700.
Turns a 7. Can Mo represent here?
Yeah,
Check,
but
check.
Are you looking to represent against Farhad?
River's an ace.
And
Yeah,
it's going to get checked down.
queen is good.
I think Mo was hoping that Farhad was betting spades. And then once the spade comes, you got to realize you can't beat anything.
You know, we've seen so many hands on the show, checking and calling. And Mo doesn't do it often, but we've seen Farhad do it a lot tonight. It really paralyzes you.
It does.
It just puts you in a spot where you don't know where you are in a hand, and it is just not winning poker. Unless, of course, you're checking and calling to continue to induce bluffs from an aggressive player like Mike. There's a time and place for everything,
I
right?
mean, if your hand is so strong that you can check and call,
Yeah.
but rarely, I mean, I got to tell you, if I'm telling new players, if a new player asks me, well, if there's one thing I can learn about poker, and I'd say, okay, obviously, first of all, only play good hands in position. And I say connected hands in position. My other thing might be, if you're going to call, bet instead. Be the better, not the caller. Obviously, when you're putting money in the pot, when you're betting, there are 2 ways to win the pot. You can win the pot because your opponent can throw their hand away. You can also win the pot in a showdown. But if you're calling, there is only one way to win the pot. You have to win in a showdown.
I mean, it kind of seems obvious, but people don't necessarily work it through their head
Exactly. I got taught that a long time ago in poker, and it's true in any game. You have to be the better. You have to give your opponent the chance to lay their hand down.
Mike's going to pop it up here with ace 10,
Mo's going to call with pocket threes.
and Ed's got a dominated 10, and Mike could really win a huge pot here for some reason.
This
Maybe
flop
a
comes
couple
out
of
like
10s.
ace 10-9 or something like
How
that.
about 2 10s out in the flop?
Oh,
here?
that would be monster.
Jack, Jack, deuce here.
How about 2 jacks? That does anything for us?
Now, is Mo going to continue on with the hand?
Well, if it gets checked to me, probably will.
Yeah, but what if Mike bets?
It has to be Jack.
And notice that Mo's got chips in his hand. Is he trying to dissuade Mike from betting?
I don't know, though, but if he gets checked to, I think you have to bet here with threes.
I think Mike's going to bet it.
Now let's not get greedy.
Who is the action on?
Well, they're talking about playing. They're playing that prop pair game, so they're kind of
Okay.
confused right now.
I got you.
And it gets checked to Mo, and he bets.
Okay.
And I can't imagine you can ever check there with threes.
No, definitely not.
And I think
It's actually
Mike-
not a bad flop for threes.
No, not at all.
Good chance that flop missed both players.
Yeah.
You know,
I just wonder if Mike bets there, how does Mo continue?
oh, that's a tough spot. Really is.
I mean,
Because
do
Mike
you-
is good
do
enough
you-
now
do
that
you-
he bet a jack.
Do you raise there, and then if Mike calls, you're just done with it?
Man, I don't know.
I went to
Or do you
I
just
might
not
just
get
throw it
involved?
away. Yeah. I mean, there are times where I will make tough calls against Mike, but there are a lot of spots where I will lay down the best hand, and I don't mind it. I really don't. I'm not going to try to catch. I'm not going to try to catch Mike in a bluff every single time he's bluffing. You know, I don't bring my ego to the table. I really don't care.
Live straddle here by Mike. And he's up pretty big tonight.
Oh, he's up huge after being down right away.
Yeah.
There was a deuce on the flop?
Doubled up on Frank Mariani.
Pocket tens here for Farhad over in the seat 8. He's just going to limp in. It is a straddled pot.
Mike Wu has been his bitch all night long, hasn't he? Unbelievable.
It's actually 3-8.
And Yosh is going to call here with 8-10 of clubs. And Ed's going to raise here with ace-king.
Yep.
300.
Now, if you're Farhad, you can easily call this.
How about if
Actually,
you're Mike? You can easily call here if you're Mike.
definitely, they're deep enough. If this flop somehow comes out ace with a deuce,
Oh, man.
you're hoping Ed has aces, actually. You really are.
If it comes out ace with the deuce, we could see like a $50,000 pot.
We
here.
could see the biggest pot in the history of Live the Bike.
Here we go. Well, 9-4-4 here. How is Ed going to play it? Farhad's got the overpair.
Yeah, not in the cards.
Now, Ed's going to bet 500. And what is Mike going to do? Is his hand really good enough just to call with 2 people behind you?
That's the problem. You get no information here. I got to tell you, I'm calling that. I'm calling with pocket deuces to hit my set.
He's going to raise. He's going to raise. And Farhad's got the overpair over here.
I don't know if Farhad's going to go anywhere. I really don't.
He doesn't look like he's that deep. He could just push in right now.
He definitely could. And Farhad and Corporation Mike have some history here, but he looks like he's going to lay it down.
Well, let's see. He's going to check his cards here again, Dave. I mean, this might be a time when you push if you're playing short stack poker in this game against Mike. Yeah,
And he's all in.
He's going to push. I don't mind the play here. One bet. You know, if Mike's got a 4, he's got a 4. What are you going to do?
Congratulations. You got my money. And I like that play against Corporation Mike. I really do, especially with Ed behind you. You got to be worried about ace-king.
Yeah.
And this is an easy laydown for Mike.
I mean, can he contrive the fact that Farhad might be doing this with a heart drop?
Ace-king of hearts. Farhad does not, he doesn't raise on the semi-bluff. He just doesn't do that. He doesn't raise on the come.
4,000 plus the money from Farhad looks like another 3,000. $7,000 pot, maybe 3,000 a call.
I put him on a minimum of 9.
Yeah, I really don't know what's going through Mike's head. He's only getting maybe 2.5, 2 to 1 here.
I mean, it's one of those times, and we've all been there, we're trying to convince ourselves that this guy has the one hand I can beat, and he's trying to think of a hand. Maybe this guy's got 6, 7 of hearts.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got ace-king, and he just can't get rid of it. Trying to contrive a hand.
But as you point out, if Mike's been paying attention to the game, Farhad
and look at
really
Mike
has
says,
not been raising on the semi-bluff.
Mike says, if I muck, will you show me? Farhad says yes. Trying to get a little bit of information. Obviously, he's not really interested in what he has. He's trying to get some information by talking to Farhad. Some of the best players do that all the time.
That's 2,000, right? So it's 26. And
You know what? I think Mike thinks he's pot committed. Is that the question?
But he's not really
No,
pot-committed.
he's got 2 outs.
Yeah.
You got to realize if you are behind here, you have 2 outs and 2 outs only. You're not getting 9 to 1.
that's 10 right now.
He thinks he has the best hand.
All right, man, show me.
Yeah, he's going to let it down. 10s are good. And not only do you just have 2 outs, but even if you're behind, the other guy's got redraws for your hand to be counterfeited. Look
Yeah.
at that, the turn's a 10.
Yeah, turn to 10. The
Yeah.
river would have been a king.
You know, if a 9 comes off, Mike's hand no longer plays.
And I love the way Farhad played that hand. Some people can say, well, if you think Mike is bluffing, why not just call him and let him bluff you?
Yeah.
There are too many cards that can come off to scare you. If a heart comes off, it might scare you. If a jack, a queen, a king, or an ace come off, those cards can really scare you also.
Button's going to move over here to Trish in seat 2. Kenny Wynn here is just limped in with pocket 9s.
Well, you know,
Gary's going to limp in with 3s.
he's looking to play a big pot after he sees the flop. He doesn't want to put all his money in with 9s here. What's he going to do? He raises it to $400. He gets called in 4 spots. The flop comes
Yeah.
out king high, and then what does he check and fold?
6-way action here. Limped around. Jack 9-3.
And there it is, set in 9s. Oh, set over set.
Oh,
my.
man, and Barry's already lost with the set tonight. This is going to be the second one. Luckily for him, Kenny's on the short staff.
Unbelievable.
Kenny bets 200 set.
And this is one of
over
those
set.
times. This is one of those times where you're just so mad at yourself for
And
buying
Barry
in
just
short.
smooth calls.
With that flop, how do you smooth
Wow,
call
how do you
Jack
smooth
9-3?
call there? That's
It's funny.
unbelievable.
Barry never slow plays too. He almost never slow plays.
Yeah.
And if a diamond comes off, maybe he saves himself.
Look at this. He's shaking his head. That
How
no
about
one
the
else
queen
came
of
by.
diamonds?
Well, the turn's a 10.
Well, that's got to be somewhat of a scary card.
Can't
If somebody was
imagine
in there
how
with, if somebody was in there with say king queen of diamonds, he's now gotten there.
told me to buy them at 90 cents, right? Went up to like $1.40.
And I like the way Kenny's playing it. He's just building himself a bot and building himself a bot so he can bet on the river.
Barry's
And-
going to put him all in, and Kenny's going to call.
Yeah, this is going to be an easy all-in here, and Barry's got one out.
Barry's
and one out
very
only.
lucky that he's like not against Ed with this hand, Dave.
Well, I mean, considering, we got to remember, we're going to get a chip count pretty soon. Considering Barry has lost with 2 sets now,
Yeah.
he is doing amazingly well tonight.
I do it all online.
So Barry needs a 3 and only a 3 here. And the river is a deuce.
Wow,
Kenny's
that was
gonna
scary.
win. Set of 9s.
Look at that, set over set.
Yeah.
You know, Barry's obviously a little bit upset. Nothing you can do about that. That's just overhead. You're going to lose. If you're in there, that's the kind of hand you want. And Kenny's just got to be disappointed that he just didn't have $5,000 or $6,000. Earlier, you think about it, it's almost the perfect way to play a short stack poker. He buys it for $3,000. Now, if he doubles up with that ace-king, he's suddenly up to about $6,000. Now he has a set. He doubles up again. Suddenly he's at $12,000. And look at this.
Let's take a look at a chip count. Now, Kenny here, okay, there it is. Kenny's up to 4,400. We get 120,000. Corporation Mike has 40,000 on the table.
Are you kidding me?
Is that right?
Oh,
Wow.
my. Wow.
40,000?
You got to be kidding me. He is up phenomenally tonight.
Take a look at the differences.
Look at Corporation Mike up $30,000 tonight. Ed up $25,000. Farhad's up 5, and the rest of the table is down. Look at
Look at
Mike
Wu
Wu.
down $21,000.
And Frank Mariani, who's already gone.
Yeah.
Remember, he deposited $15,000 here as well.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
that is sick. I mean, look at the towers of chips in front of Mike, the towers of whites. He probably has 2 or 3 5,000s on top of that as well. Trish is going to raise it up here with pocket 4s. Look at that, 10,000 in purples. Maybe, you know, those are stacks of, I don't know how much, maybe 4,000 apiece.
And if we see some sort of a monster hand,
Yeah.
you got to think about it. Ed has over $30,000 in front of him.
And Mike has him
has
covered.
40. We might have the makings of a huge, huge hand.
He's one of a kind, isn't he?
This hand's a fun one.
It took once
Button moves here to seat 4.
20-something thousand from me, but I like it.
Unbelievable. Between the 2 players, we have $72,000.
Kings, queens, slow played, and then
What a night.
Yeah.
Live at the bike, I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You are watching Unrestricted 2040 No Limit Hold'em
I've been on the other side.
Whale Night style. And we've had a couple of whales here,
Absolutely.
and they've been
I
harpooned.
was in Vegas 2 weeks ago at Bellagio playing the 2550, exact same hand. Went down the exact same way. The guy made a big raise, I just called, flop came like 9.
And you talk about, you know, obviously we're talking about Mike Wu, how much class he has.
Took me forever. I
A
finally
professional
called,
poker player, and he has really played it well considering how unlucky he's gotten tonight.
especially when the flop comes low.
Check to Mo here. It was limped around. He's going to bet 300. I don't think Kenny's going to chase here at the bottom end of an open-ended straight draw with 2 hearts around, is he?
No, that's not the flop you're looking for with 9-10 offsuit.
He's in the big blind.
You got to also think, if I hit my hand, am I going to get any action? I'm Kenny Win. I mean, the only play really is a semi bluff. I mean, if a heart comes, he might be thinking, well, wait a second, can I represent hearts?
I don't even know if Mo's going to put any more money in the pot here with a hand as weak as Queen 10.
He's going to keep this pot as small as possible, especially against Kenny Win, and he's going to throw it away.
Yeah.
And that's what
Mo takes it down.
that move that I
Now we talk about if you play on the internet or if you're new to playing poker and you want to model yourself after somebody in the sense of how to act at a table, Mike Wu really is a great example. He wins a pot, he smiles. He loses a pot, he smiles.
yeah.
Obviously, he's shaking his head a little bit. You know, nobody wants to lose $21,000. But at the same time, he really handles himself with class.
Collection pot there. You know, I want to point out that we've added a couple of definitions of terms under As Seen As Live on the Bike on the left-hand corner of your screen. Regarding running the board cards to the river multiple times, as well as flush draw, naked flush draw. You can check that out.
Yeah, just click on poker terminology.
Yep. As always, you can check out the archives by clicking on the on-demand banner. Get you access to every show we've ever done. Watch Mike Wu. He's been on the show about 10 or 15 times before.
It usually wins.
Yep. He's going to pop it up here, it looks like, on the button with ace-9 suited.
Little steal here. I don't think. Yeah, he's going to take it down.
Yep.
Little button steal there.
Those games are fun.
Figures $140 of dead money. Why not?
Now, where was Yost there again in that chip count? Remind me. Was he just right around even, not up or down a big amount? Yeah, he was about even. I mean, he had won some money
Right.
against Mo.
There's only 3 players that are up.
Yeah.
And that's Ed, Corporation Mike, and Farhad. The rest of the table is either even or down. And the 2 players that are really down the most are obviously Frank Mariani, who's gone, and Mike Wu.
And remember how much Mike Wu is down. Remember the first hand of the night when he caught the flush at the end against 2 sets. He won right away. Oh, and then he took a towering downswing.
You talk about a $27,000 swing. He was up $6,000 after that first hand.
Yeah. Farhad's picked up another decent hand here in the big blind. He's got ace-king. And Kenny Wynn's got ace-queen in the blind, and Barry's got pocket eights. This could be a little bit interesting.
And I think this is going to go raise, call, call. Pretty sure.
Little raise.
Farhad just going to call.
Call, call. Now, is Kenny Wynn going to lose some money here if an ace comes out? Now, against a player that's not really tricky like Farhad, you've got to understand if you get check raised with an ace out there, your hand with ace-queen is probably not good.
Now, if you're Barry, do you bet this? I got to tell you, even against Kenny Wynn, I'm going to bet it, and I like the bet. Remember, it is a button raise.
Yeah, the flop is not 8-9-3. Barry has not flopped a set. It's 10-9-3.
And obviously, I'd still bet it with a 10-9-3 out there. Obviously, the set of eights is an easy bet.
And he's going to take it down there.
Nice bet there by Barry
Yep.
Woods. Got to hand it to Barry Woods. Obviously, you see a lot of better players. You see a lot of good players. You lose 2 sets over sets in one day. Sometimes that can make you a little gun shy. But Barry Woods has stayed aggressive.
Again, tonight's show sponsored by Poker Blue. You can head over to pokerblue.net. For only $110, enter a tournament starting July 6th. It runs every day starting at 7 p.m. U.S. Pacific time. If you win that tournament, you get a main event seat worth $10,000 plus $1,000 in cash. Plus you enter into and you get on Poker Blue's Team Poker Blue.
Now, what is this Poker Blue team? Explain this to me one more time.
Poker Blue
As if I was
team
really stupid.
Is comprised of 26 players, 23 of which will get onto the team through winning one of those tournaments. The other 2, Ted Forrest, NBC Heads-Up champion, and Yosh Nakano, 2006 CBS Intercontinental Poker champion.
I see. So all 25 players are basically trading 1% of themselves
And they are all
in the main event.
trading 1%, so you're playing 75% for yourself, 1% for each other.
Wow. So, I mean, you basically have 25 people you can be rooting for
Absolutely.
in the main event.
Corporation Mike is going to raise it up here with Queen Jack. Barry calls with King 9 suited. And Mo's going to come in with 3-4. Again, you see Barry. Now, this time he's playing Mike in position.
That's not the flop?
We had a bunch of mucked cards exposed there. Couldn't quite catch out what it was. Well, 9-8 deuce. Is Barry going to get involved here?
All diamonds.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, once again, Corporation Mike is going to bet. I'm going to raise it here right away. I want to see where I'm at.
It's either a raise or a fold, right?
Yeah, I don't think you can always just check call, or in this case, just call Mike. You can't give him the free cards.
He calls.
You can't let him name his price. Now, obviously, Mike's in terrible shape. He needs a queen or a jack and only.
Or a 10. Turns
Oh,
a 3.
right. Thank you.
And Mike is going to continue to fire at it. He's going to bet $1,200 into about a $1,200 pot. And Barry quickly calls. And this pot has escalated to close to $4,000
And
here.
Barry's about a 3-1 favorite here going to the river. Mike's going to need a 10, a queen, or a jack.
And the river's a deuce.
That is the best card in the deck for Barry.
And Mike is going to fire $1,500, and I think Barry's going to call. If he went all the way here, Dave, I mean, the pot now is about, oh my goodness, the pot was $5,300, $1,500 to call. And he folded. What was he looking for? He didn't have a diamond in his hand.
He's shaking his head like, what was he expecting to hit? Like the deuce of clubs was scary?
Wow, that's amazing. I thought it was too small of a bet for him to fold there.
Too small a bet. I got to tell you, Mike could have put a friggin' grenade in the middle of the table, and I'm calling him there. I know it's easy for me. I'm privy to the cards, but I've played with Corporation Mike so many times now, and obviously I've watched him so many times. There's no way I'm not calling that river after I've called the flop in the turn.
And if he flopped the flush, so be it, right?
Hey, I might have thrown the hand away on the turn.
Yeah.
If I'm going to throw the hand away, it's on the turn. I'm not going to throw the hand away.
We
on the
always
river.
talk about when a guy calls you on the turn and then the river is a total blank. How do you fold on the river if you've called the turn?
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, was Barry calling to improve his hand? I just don't understand that play at all. You know, here at Live at the Bike, we try to say it like it is,
Limped around here.
and I just do not understand that play at all.
And Ed just limped in with Ace-King, probably going for the limp re-raise. He's not going to get it here, Dave.
Mike, what happened tonight? You didn't change your card yet. That Mike there, 3-4 times, you changed your card.
And that's probably Corporation Mike's, what is he, like 5 or 6
But wait a
successful
minute,
bluffs.
look at this. Yosh is going to raise, so Ed is going to probably be able to pull the limp re-raise.
Does he want to, though?
Now he's just going to call.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
when Yosh does that raise, do you really want to?
And Yosh was just trying to pick up the money. And again, this is not a tournament. You talk about, Steve, it was only limped around, and Barry's going to call with 5s here. Yosh is building himself a huge pot out of position with ace deuce here.
Now, Barry's not that deep now. Remember, he's lost a couple of pots.
All the money in the right guy is ace jack and a jacket.
10-3-7. If Yosh continues with a big bet here, he would take it down.
Tough spot to be in. He's out of position against 2 players that like to call down. And Ed is going to fire. And what does Barry do here with 5s? It's not a terrible flop for 5s, is it?
Yeah, Ed is really opening up his game. He really is. He's bluffing a lot more than he used to. I don't think you can really blame Barry for folding 5s
No,
here.
not at all. I mean, and I think Yosh is going to lay this down as well.
Well, Yosh and Ed have a history here, Dave. I mean, maybe Yosh is thinking if I hit an ace, I might get paid off by Ed's 10 the whole way. Unlucky for him, he is dominated here, but we've seen Yosh get mixed up with Ed.
Now, Yosh is the ace of clubs, and you're thinking maybe he can represent flush draw, but he's going, you know what?
Yeah.
Do I really want to be representing something against Ed? And look at that. The turn actually would have been the 6 of clubs.
Yeah.
Normally a great scare card, but you're not sure if that's going to work against Ed.
And again, what I was getting to is inherently, you know, it was linked around about 5 ways. So it's about $200 in dead money. Now Yosh risks 500 to win 200. And you've got a limper in there by Ed. You've got a couple of loose players in the hand. And he now gets called in a couple of spots. It's almost just not worth it. He doesn't want to get called, right?
No, obviously not. Obviously not. You know, I hate to harp on that hand by Barry Woods, but I got to go back to it. Once again, I want to say I don't think it's a bad laydown to lay down top pair when you don't have a diamond in your hand. I just don't understand the call on the turn and then the lay down on the river.
Yeah, you don't understand him calling the turn to lay down the river.
Yeah,
Makes no sense.
especially when you're getting more than 3-1 against a guy who only has to be bluffing 1 out of 4 times to make it profitable. Would Corporation might be bluffing more than 1 out of 4 times?
4-way action here, limped around. Ace 9 queen here with a couple of diamonds.
130.
Mike Wu's going to throw out a kind of a little bluffish bet here, 130. And Yoshi's going to check call here with bottom pair. Guess kind of nut backdoor diamonds. And now he hits trip 9s. And how is he going to play it? He
Yeah, but
checks.
this is one of those times where, okay, you got lucky enough to hit trip 9s, but Mike Wu's got nothing.
Mike Wu checks right behind him. And the river's a 4. I assume that Yoshi's going to put some money out here now.
I think you have to.
Wow, he checks. And
I
look,
would-
yeah, Mike Wu's not going to bluff at it.
Yeah, you wonder maybe Yosh is checking that, hoping Mike Wu has missed his diamond draw.
Yes, but I mean, maybe these guys know each other so well. I mean, obviously we don't know how they play against each other. That if Yosh bets on the river, if he thinks that Mike Wu will throw a hand away as good as Ace Jack on the river, then I guess there is no point to bet.
And look at and our dealers here. We get the best dealers in the house to deal this game, but notice how she tries to push the chips to Mike Wu
Yeah.
with his 7 high. Saw a great post there. I was had to read that. Said the way Ed is running with his luck, if we send him to Afghanistan, he'll find Osama bin Laden within 5 minutes.
Yeah. But again, like I said, such a history. You know, if Yosh doesn't think that he can value bet a 9 and get called by an ace there, he might think he's just got to check and just induce some sort of bluff on a miss.
Right. Well, you got to think about it. The board is Ace Queen 9-9, right?
Yeah.
What is Mike going to pay him off with? Ace Jack. You know, you start thinking of hands.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're talking about Yosh Nakano and Mike Wu, you're really taking your poker up to a whole new level. These guys have been playing high-stakes cash games longer than you and I have been alive.
This is a real loose call.
Got a raise here by Farhad with 9-8. Makes it 250. Ed calls with King Queen. And Mike here says, I'm going to make a loose call, and he does with 10-5 of diamonds. So it's about an $800 pot here. Well, Mike amazingly picks up a diamond draw. Farhad's got top pair. We can see some fireworks. And Ed's going to come out and bluff at it.
It's the new Ed. He likes to
gonna
make this.
bet 1,200 into a $800 pot.
And it kind of raises Mike's eyebrow there. He's wondering, what are you betting? Why are you betting so much?
Remember, Ed kind of likes to slow play. Probably doesn't have a hand like two pair or set.
The problem is, though, is Mike's got to wonder, is this guy betting a diamond draw?
Yeah.
'Cause that's what it smells like to me. Normally, a big overbet like that is like, ace-10 of diamonds or ace-jack of diamonds.
And Mike gets away from it, but Farhad is going to call with 8-9.
I like the laydown by Mike. I really do. It's too easy for him to be dominated in diamonds.
$3,200 pot. Ed needs a king or a queen here. He's got overcards. And the turn's a queen. We knew it was coming. And Ed's going to bet out again.
And he's building himself a pot here.
He bets 1,000 in a quick call here by Farhad. Over a $5,500 pot. Farhad's going to need to get lucky. Needs to catch a 9 or an 8, or Ed is good. Here we go to the river. The river's a 6, and Ed is good.
Yeah.
And he's going to bet again.
Great value bet here.
He bets 1,000, and Farhad pays him off. And Ed wins a $7,000 pot with King Queen.
You imagine Ed probably could have bet probably that $1,600, maybe even $2,000 on the river. The pot was big enough at that point to bet more. Put a $1,000 bet there, and he gets paid off.
Look at
Unbelievable.
Mike's laughing over there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, Mike's happy enough that he did not hit his draw. Would not have made anything.
What an unbelievable game here tonight. And Ed is just en fuego. On fire.
And I guess, it's that corner of the table. Seats 3 and 4 are just absolutely demolishing this table. And with that loss, I want to say Farhad is probably close to even, and we probably only have 2 winners the entire night.
Pocket jacks here for Farhad now. And he's just going to limp in. Just a limp here by Farhad. Now, Mike's in the big blind. Might be trying to pull the limp re-raise. Mike is not going to raise with the ace. What is Barry doing limping in there with ace-8 in middle position? 7-6-4 here.
Well, he's flopping a gut shot. That's what he's doing. He needs a 5 for the straight.
And Ed is going to come out and bet here.
Ed is just betting every single flop.
He bets with 3-4. Mike calls. Now, you wonder with an overpair and it's totally limped around, can Farhad really raise here? Can he really commit chips?
I actually like a raise here. I'm going to put a little raise in there, see where I'm at. Remember,
He's
Barry...
going to pretty much almost commit himself.
Well, you got to think about it. Ed has been betting anything. And Mike and Barry just smooth called. They're showing weakness. Why not bet, raise it up, see where I'm at?
Well, I thought he was putting up more than that. He actually only makes it 800 here.
And that'll probably win it
Yeah.
for him, and it does. That's a nice raise.
But again, it is a little bit scary when you limp him with jacks and you get a board like that. Now, it is a rainbow board.
Definitely, it's just the way the betting went. Once the flop comes out, remember, Ed just showed down King Queen.
Yeah.
Remember, he bet, and everybody saw him bet $1,200 on that flop when he completely missed. So you're not going to give Ed credit for anything. And now Mike and Barry are just smooth calling. Okay, well, let me see where I'm at with my jacks.
Button moves over here to Ed in C3. Mike Wu has the big blind. We're playing 20-40 no limit hold'em. We've got over $130,000 on the table. We've got 2 guys that have won over $20,000 and 1 guy that's lost $20,000. Actually, a couple guys that have, actually Frank Mariani was down about $15,000.
Yeah, he lost $15,000, and Mike Wu's down over $20,000. So big swings tonight.
Limped around here 3 ways. Queen 6-9 with a couple of spades.
Well, Mike Wu has the best hand.
Corporation Mike is just going to throw a little bluff bet out at it. Mike Wu is just going to, he's going to make a little mini raise here with Queen 8. Kind of that mini raise with top pair, drive out maybe some draws. He's going to take it down. Again, white chips are $100 chips. Brown chips are $10 chips. Big purples are $5,000 chips.
If you see any green chips, those are $1,000. Button moves over to seat number 4. Small blinds, $20. Big blinds, $40. Barry Woods is under the gun. He's first to act. What a night of poker. And Mo's got 9-8 of diamonds. He's going to raise it up in kind of middle-ish position. He buys himself the button, And he might buy himself the pot here, and he does. Takes it down. Button's going to move over to Mike Wu in seat number 6. You don't want to miss, actually. Check it out on CBS. I believe it's every Saturday. Actually, it's Sundays also. We've got our own Yoshi Nakano in seat number 1 in the Intercontinental Poker Championship. Here's Yoshi Nakano. And I'm going to ruin it for you. So I'm assuming if you're watching this show, you are a poker fanatic and you already know this. Yoshi Nakano actually won. He was the champion of the Intercontinental Poker Championship that will be airing on CBS against such players as Daniel Negreanu, Tony G, Johnny Chan, Umberto Brenes, Doyle Brunson, you name it, they were there. Yoshi Nakano representing Japan and taking down the championship. You can catch that on CBS. And this is limped around.
Does it come natural, or you got to try to be an asshole?
Limped around 7 ways, $280 pot
Take my fucking money and shut the fuck up.
to the flop.
Give me more money. I want more.
10-5-4 rainbow.
I wish I would have taken 4.
Doesn't look like anybody has much of anything. No 10s out there. Now, Ed, I believe actually Barry has the best hand here with 5-9. But he checks it. Now, Farhad is actually going to bet with bottom pair. Look at that. He bets it 4-6. And Ed is going to call with 5-7, and Ed has got him. And they're going to see this heads up. The pot is now about $800 to the turn. Farhad needs a 6 or a 4. Turn is a queen of hearts. And Farhad's going to continue betting. Wow. Bets $400. Ed throws it away. And Farhad takes it down. Shows him the bluff. And the river was a 10. Wouldn't have changed anything.
So I didn't get a chance to watch that thing on CBS, but I will watch it. Of course, Yost representing Japan. And kind of a spoiler, winning the that tournament.
Intercontinental Poker Champion.
Not a whole lot of big tournament accomplishments for Yost. Remember, he went on to make it deep in the World Series of Poker circuit event at Recon, or back a couple months ago.
Right.
And
well, he is an absolute force when it comes to cash games. And that's where pretty much he's played. Probably only plays about 6 or 7 tournaments a year, and they're all the big ones. So he's probably one of the best players you've never heard of.
he was also invited to play in the Heads Up tournament. That Heads Up tournament, Ted Forrest, member of Team Poker Blue, won this year. Mike Wu's going to bring it in for a raise here at a 120 with ace-8 offsuit.
Farhad's going to call this with 10-3.
10-3 suited here. Here we go to the flop. Well, Farhad's flopped the flush draw here.
And if Farhad would bet it, he'd take it down.
It looks like he is going to bet it, Dave.
There you go.
That's 400 here.
Well, that's an easy. Mike's missed it completely. But he's going to raise.
Well, he figures, you know what? This guy, there's no way he would bet out on a 7. Might I specifically put him on a flush draw, and I can bet him off of it if the heart doesn't come. The turn's a king. And now if he has a 6, maybe I can bet him off the hand now as well. And Wu is going to bet here again.
And you see the advanced play of Mike Wu. He is not just going to call him because he thinks Farhad is. He thinks Farhad doesn't have anything, so he's not just calling. He's raising. He's taking control of the pot.
He has bet, looks like 800 here on the turn.
And talk about a player who's got some perseverance. This guy is down $20,000 tonight, but he is still playing it fearless.
Oh, it is a $1,200 bet here on the turn.
Into about a $2,000 pot.
And Farhad's going to, he calls, and you got to think that Mike Wu is going to need to fire again if he puts Farhad on busted flush draw here. This one's going to be interesting.
Well, if you put him on busted flush draw, might your ace-high win. Unless you put him on an ace-high flush draw.
That's right. You might actually be able to check it down. Boy, what would that be incredible if he checked it down 1 here. Pot is up over $4,000 now.
Neither player has a pair.
And the river's a queen.
Both players miss.
Yeah, but you say you might check ace-8. What if Farhad accidentally backed into a pair here? Remember that Kathy Liebert thing?
Yeah, but what? You think if he accidentally backed into ace-queen, he's going to throw it away?
And now he's going to throw out 1,500. He's missed, and he's going to bet the river here.
Now, do you buy this bet, though? What is he trying to represent?
Can Mike Wu make a call with ace-high, or can he raise here thinking the guy's on busted hearts? Is there any value to raise?
There's no value to raise because you got to start thinking, unless he has specifically ace-jack or ace-10 or ace-9 of hearts. I mean, it's actually a chop pot anyway. Both players have a pair of sevens, ace, king, queen. And he calls.
And he makes the call.
Raise all.
No, he raises, Dave. He raised
okay.
all in. I got to tell you, and that was the difference.
All in.
I think he specifically thought that Farhad missed, but I don't think it was really great poker strategy there. I don't think he
it on.
necessarily thought that his hand, for some reason, might win in a showdown. What if he called there, and what if Farhad did have ace-10 of hearts?
Well, then it's a chop pot. Both players would have ace, king, queen, pair of sevens. You're not going to get him off ace, queen. You're not going to get him off ace, king. You know what I mean? You're not going to get Farhad off that hand. I mean, that's the only reason I was wondering.
But what if he had a flush draw with the queen in it?
Okay, I don't think Farhad's going to lay down a queen either, but I understand where you're going.
Yeah.
I do understand where you're going there. I think it's a great call. And if you're going to call, why not raise? I guess, hey, if the guy's got ace-10, you know, at least you get him off the chop pot.
Well, that's the point I was trying to make.
Okay.
I mean, you know it's a chop
Right.
pot. But,
Definitely.
you know, are you going to call and chop the pot?
And
if
you
you know you can raise and get him off the hand if he just has ace high.
Right, you talk about great instincts from Mike Wu. The bet on the river just didn't make any sense. This guy, wait a second.
Yeah.
Check call. Now the queen comes, which completes nothing, and he's going to bet into it. What are you trying to represent here? It just didn't add up, and Mike Wu sniffs it out and wins himself a nice pot too.
I just think that, you know, I don't know if you can just call there with ace-8. There might be something peculiar that happens. You either chop it or you might lose to some sort of dangling pair if you think he's weak. Jack 9-7 here on the flop. And Barry's got top two, and Ed's got top pair.
Ed's got top and bottom.
Man, top two for Barry, and top and bottom for Ed. This spot is already 1,200. I think Farhad raised it with ace-king. Am I right about that?
Yes, he has. No, it's funny, you know.
Oh, this is unbelievable. Farhad leads for 500. The pot is now 1,700. Ed's got top and bottom, and he's going to raise.
And I got to tell you, if I'm Barry, I move all in right now because I know Ed is going to call. And
Barry
he's going to do it.
makes 1,500, and he's moving in with Jack 9. And there's no way in the world Ed's going to get away from this.
Yeah, we had a $500 bet from Farhad, $1,500 raise to Ed, and now Barry has moved all in. Ed is going to easily call, and unless Ed catches a 7, Barry is going to double up.
Dave, this is going to be about a $9,000 pot right here. It's going to be about a $9,000 pot. I am sure that Ed is going to call.
Oh, the pot is too big to get away from it. There's no way he's going anywhere. No way.
Chop this up here, the little booty. How much is it? I called Bubba. I called. Don't worry.
We could see two running high pair cards that would chop the pot as well, right?
Yes, exactly.
Two running over cards here that pair. And Barry's in really good shape here. Here we go to the turn. Turn is a 10. Now an 8 would chop the pot as well.
An 8 or a 10 would chop it up,
Yeah.
and a 7 would lose it for him.
Here we go to the river.
7 is good.
And the river's a deuce, and Barry, well-deserved double through there.
Yeah, he's been a victim of some really cooler hands tonight.
Yeah.
Finally is on the positive side of it, and he doubles up. And that Mike Wu versus Farhad hand, I think we'll be talking about that hand for quite a while. We'll probably hit that hand in the video vlog. That was a really interesting hand.
If
to start
not
talking about.
tomorrow, maybe the next week or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly. That was a real interesting hand.
Again, I just say, you know, is ace-8 good enough just to call? Especially even if there's a chance that you're just chopping it, but you know if you raise, you can get the guy off of a chop pot.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, I just don't think Farhad is betting a 6 there.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're getting Farhad off a king or a queen. Or a
You
7.
might get him off at ace-10 of hearts. Or,
That's specifically you are getting him off ace-10 or ace-9 of hearts,
Yeah.
and you are, instead of chopping the pot up, you are winning the entire pot. That's specifically those two hands. But we'll talk about that, obviously. A fascinating hand, especially. I always find it fascinating when you end up getting a $7,000 pot. No pair versus no pair.
Button moves over here to Farhad. We got about a half an hour left in the show. What a doozy it's been.
Yeah, this has really been phenomenal poker. If you like this show, we do this every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time. If you like it, tell your friends about it. If you don't like it, tell your friends about it.
Hey, I'm gonna be miserable when she sits in.
We're going to see this 4 ways, limped around. 5-3 deuce. Kenny's got the overpair. Now, there's 2 spades out there, and Barry's got 7-8 of spades. Is he going to get involved? Let's see what happens. Well, the question is he going to get involved? We know he's going to get involved.
Kenny bets here. And Barry's going to raise with overcards in the spade draw.
And I like the raise. And normally you think maybe my overcards are good, but in this case, his overcards are completely worthless.
Now, Kenny is not really all that short here. Remember, if you only had 1,500 or 2,000 left, he's got about 3,000. He might push here. Now, might he try to manipulate what's going on here in this hand, now that he's a little deeper? He's just going to call.
Pot is now $1,200.
The turn's a 5.
Oh, that's a scary card.
See
That's
if Barry
gotta
might
be
be able to represent.
Well, that's got to be a scary card. Remember, if Barry raised you with ace-5, he has now got you killed.
Kenny checks. Barry checks behind him.
Takes the card.
And the river is an ace.
And that's another scary card.
Can
Remember,
Barry represent the nut flush?
Exactly.
And look at it, it's a one-liner to a straight to a 4 here. Kenny can't beat anything but specifically busted spades without a pair.
But he puts out a little blocker bet out there. He puts out a $500 blocker bet, thinking, okay, this guy can only raise me if he's got a big hand. Maybe I can represent the ace.
And he takes it down there. Just got worse and worse for him there on the board.
I mean, if Barry bets that river, you almost have to put him on an ace, don't you?
Yeah. Hugo Malton 2+2 says, seriously professional quality commentating tonight. Kudos. Well, thank you very much. While Sheila's doing the setup here, sometimes we capture these show stays for later dates, and we've done this. Try to keep it as professional as possible, except those times when Tuckman, I think, forgets about it. Kind of pops in like nutsack or something like that in the conversation.
There's nothing wrong with nutsack, okay? You can't talk about a nut. Hey, if I can't talk about nutsack, I just can't do the show, okay? I'm sorry. Button's in seat 9.
Over here to seat 9.
Now, Mo's got a playable hand on the button. If it folds around to him, he's sure he's going to raise it up. But you know what? Mike, Barry actually raises it up to 240.
Jack 5 offsuit, and Mo calls with ace jack.
And this is the part of Barry's game I just don't understand. It's like, why? It's not a tournament. What are you trying to steal?
Trish is in there with pocket 9s. Here we go to the flop. Trish has got top set here.
Now, unfortunately for her, nobody's got much of anything. Yoshi's not in there.
Yeah, and Barry's going to make the continuation bet, so I assume Trish is going to play this as kind of a check raise. We'll see what happens. Barry bets. He's got absolutely nothing. And Trish is just going to slow play. She's going to check call.
Do you really want to slow play on a flop like that?
Well, the turn's a 4.
Barry's drawing dead.
And Barry's going to continue to bet. Trish is actually playing this.
It's a draw-heavy board.
Yeah.
He might think she's got spades, or she has 10-jack or 10-7 or something like that.
He bets 900 now.
Now, you think about it, what might she call a raise pre-flop, but could she be in there with 10-jack? You know what I mean?
And she's going to check raise him.
And this hand is over.
The question for you here is that if a 10 comes off on the turn, I think Barry takes the card.
Oh, on the
For
turn,
some
yeah.
reason,
Oh,
if
for
you're
sure.
in there with Jack 5.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Barry's really good about taking that card when he thinks he's beat. You can't blame Barry for betting that turn, though, because that board was so draw-heavy, 9, deuce, 8 with 2 spades.
Yeah.
You've got to bet it. And look at the river. The river was the 9 of diamonds.
Wow, Trish would have made quads on the river. Unbelievable.
No, she is not flop. Come on.
If you've missed any part of this show, we replay it at 11 p.m. tonight, Pacific time, and then every 3 hours until 5 p.m. tomorrow. You can also catch it on Sunday. And I got to tell you, this show alone is worth the archives. I am going to fast forward and rewind and watch hand after hand. This is fabulous poker tonight.
Button moves over here to Yosh. Collection pot once again. And Farhad's going to bring it in for 250. He's got ace-king here. Again, Mo has just played it squeaky tight here tonight.
The only problem with Mo's game tonight, obviously, he's played it squeaky tight, but then he's lost money on hands where he really shouldn't have lost too much money on.
Well, Mo, that now that he's been in this job now for almost a year and a half, his bankroll has really shot through the roof. He's made a lot of money here playing. But you wonder at this level if he's still a little bit uncomfortable with the stakes.
You wonder, especially with this game.
Yeah.
20-40 blinds he's not uncomfortable playing, but this game played more like a 50-100 game.
Absolutely, this is a huge game.
I mean, we have over 100,000 on the table. Actually, we have over 120,000 on the table.
Can you win there? A nice little win as well.
Yeah, well, we talk about this is probably a game where I would have bought in for probably $3,000, played that short stack theory, and tried to double up a couple of times. Not risking, not exposing myself too much.
Well, then let me ask you this question, though.
Okay.
And obviously you're in a different, say, financial situation than I am, but personally, if I played it that way, and say maybe I double or tripled up, at that point, I might get off the table. I might not be comfortable with 8,000-9,000. Would you play the regular stack at that point?
Depending on who had money, if Ed's got $30,000, there's no way I'm getting off, because the way I look at it is I have bought in for $3,000.
You kind of hedged it. Even if you go broke, you've only lost 3,000.
Let's see if I can parlay this into a huge win.
Well, that's
for
not
me.
what Barry Greenstein likes to do when he buys in short in a limit game or in a no-limit game.
If I'm running good, I'm going to buy in for 3,000 in this game. If I double up one time like Kenny Wynn does, hey, I'm going to see if I can win a small fortune in one night, sort of like Mike has tonight. Limp in a cutoff seat by Ed, and we're going to see this 3 ways.
3 players.
$120 pot to the flop, ace 3 deuce. And Jack High is still good. We've got a couple of gut shot straight draws, and whoever bets is probably going to take this down. Mike Wu tosses $100 in there, and he's going to take it down.
How much is it? 2.
I got to tell you, if I got as unlucky as Mike Wu did and I had a steak knife in my hand, man, somebody might be getting stabbed.
Join us tomorrow for probably a 300 or 500 game day. No one knows. Go USA. That's all I'm going to say. Button moves here to seat 5.
Just when I thought we weren't going to do anything else.
Yeah.
Is this still a collection pot?
Yeah. Been in that couple of hands. Again, a pot has to be over, what, $400 or $500?
$500.
Yeah. Maybe Donna can ask Yosh to maybe stop with those chips, huh? Right in the microphone. Limped around. Queen 7 deuce here on the flop.
Now, Mike had raised it up, and he's got a pair of 7s. He actually has the best hand. But Farhad is going to bet it. Farhad's got... He's got a flush draw.
It was limped around, Dave.
It was. Oh, I thought Mike had raised. Okay.
And Mike, he hit middle pair, but he's not even going to get involved. Farhad bets the flush draw, but Ed calls here. Ed calls with bottom pair, Jack deuce. And the turn's a jack, and Farhad's made the flush, and Ed's made 2 pair. Oh, my. Lucky for Ed, Farhad doesn't have that much more.
Well, this time Farhad's actually going to bet his flush.
Yeah. And I think Ed might put Farhad in here. We'll see.
Really? Wow, okay.
Well, just a call here. Just a call by Ed. Oh, and Ed gets counterfeited on the river.
I mean, that's such a bad river card. Ed can't even beat a queen now.
No, he can't even beat a queen.
He can't beat a queen. He can't beat a real jack, even.
Yeah.
Remember, Ed's now got... Ed has jacks and 7s with a queen kicker.
But he's going to call, Dave. The flush is going to take it down.
Trying call there, obviously.
Horrible river card. Absolutely terrible river card there.
Sheila counting out Farhad's chips there.
Yeah.
Just to see exactly how much Ed owes him. $770. Nothing big for Ed there, who's up over $20,000 tonight. I mean, we're talking about, we've only been playing this game for about 2 hours and 20 minutes. The game only started maybe a minute before the show started. And the fireworks started right away.
Let's take a look at a chip count here.
Look at that,
115,000 we'll call it here on the table.
Yep, Corporation Mike still at 40,000, Ed with 32. Mike Wu up to 16,000 now, trying to make a little bit of a comeback.
Let's take a look at the differences. Now, Barry Woods, he's got more than 4,600 there, doesn't he? Huh?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So that...
You know what we're going to do? We're going to put this one down, and we're going to correct it and get it back to you.
Trish is going to raise it up here to 240 with ace king.
I need to play.
And Ed is going to call with 8-7 of hearts. So Ed calls it the suited connector here. And Farhad's going to play with 8-3 of diamonds here.
All right, any two cards, man. Any two
It's
cards.
about an $800 pot going 3 ways. 4 ways. More than that. Ace, Jack, 5. Well, Farhad's flopped a flush draw here. Trish has got top pair.
And if you're Trish, you got to keep betting this and keep betting it because Farhad's either going to have a weak ace when he calls you or he's going to have a diamond draw, and I'm going to charge him for
Well,
it.
Dave, it was about maybe a $1,000 pot. She bets 400, and that's going to induce Farhad to check raise all in. And I don't know if Trish is going to get away from it here.
Nah, she's not going anywhere. I really don't think she's going to go anywhere.
Well, we'll see how much more it is. The pot before the check raise with the call by Farhad is about 1,800 plus the Farhad raise. And she makes the call. It's going to be probably about a $4,000 pot.
Yeah, you got to put him on a range of hands. Now he picked
catches
him out.
a 3. Diamond 3 or an 8 here. No. Well, Trish is going to escape with the ace king.
Someone's got to have a deuce.
Yeah, and you got to put him on a range of hands, obviously, when he makes that move. And you go, okay. He could have ace jack. He could have a set. He could also have ace queen. He could also have diamonds. And when you think of all those hands that he possibly could have, plus the pot is laying you about 2.5 to 1, I think it's an easy call.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Button moves over here to Barry in seat 7. Got about 20 minutes left in the show. As always, you can catch a replay of this show starting an hour after the show, all the way up until 5 p.m. tomorrow. And you can catch it on Sunday. We replay the entire week starting at noon Pacific time, running all the way up until about 3 a.m. in the morning on Monday.
Live straddle here from Yosh. He made it $80 to go. See how Mike has really tamed his game down a little bit. Playing the table.
Well, Mo's got ace jack here in the big blind. Mighty raise. He's going to make a little $200 raise.
Now, Farhad is rebought. How much is he rebought for?
2,500. Farhad calls with 8-10 of clubs. Yosh is out. And let's see if Farhad's going to call Mo's raise. And I mean, even some people that are just here for fun, that are just kind of sitting through doing the motions, have to notice the fact that Mo hasn't played a hand.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
8-10 of clubs out of position against
Yeah.
one player. Do you really want to get involved?
Haven't even won a hand.
So this Team Poker Blue thing is kind of cool. So if you win your seat on PokerBlue.com, if you win your seat, you will actually get 1% of all the other 25 players. Hey, pretty cool to get 1% of Ted Forrest and 1% of Yosh's action in the main event.
the Ayers got an open-ended straight draw. He checks it here. Turns a 9. And now a $100 bet, I think, by Mike with King 6, a call and a call. Yoshi's call with the bottom end of an open-ended straight draw here.
And he did not get there.
And who's got the best hander? It looks like
Barry.
Barry with the 9, but Mike's going to fire at it again. He bets 500. And Barry's going to call with third pair.
Wow,
And that's
nothing.
good.
I mean, that's a great call. Barry
Yeah.
can beat nothing.
Just a
Barry
bluff.
can't beat
Well,
diamonds.
the diamonds got there at the end.
That's what I mean. He can't beat diamonds. He
Yeah.
can't beat a jack. He can't beat a straight.
Yeah.
He can beat nothing except a bluff from Mike.
Would have been a better call, and he mucked it.
Yep.
Tell you what, next time I have a decision to make, I'll ask you first. So anyway,
The confrontations between Corporation Mike and Barry Woods, they're always entertaining.
Nice call.
and you have King High.
Button moves over here to seat 9.
No, I didn't see that.
There was 3-5, but it was after.
Well, Mike's got ace-king suited here in early position. And he's just going to limp in, Dave. He loves to limp re-raise with ace-king suited.
When you mucked your hand, mine was good too.
But I don't think he's going to get the... Unless Mo is going to raise. No, Mo limps. And he's not going to get the limp re-raise here. Now, Mo is dominated. It is an unraised pot. You wonder if an ace comes out, is he really going to go to war with Mike here? Well, Mo's flopped over cards, a wheel draw, and the nut flush draw. Great flop.
Yeah, it really is a great flop for Mo.
Now, Yosh has 3-4. He's got a pair and an open-ended straight draw. And Farhad is going to bet. Farhad's flopped a straight. He's flopped a straight with 6-3, and Mo is going to raise. Farhad's got the nuts right now.
I think it's all going in
deuce,
right
4.
now. I think it's all going in. I don't think Mo is going to
Yep,
go anywhere.
all in here by Farhad and a quick call here by Mo.
And the pot is quickly almost $6,000.
The turn's a 5. Mo needs a heart here, and it doesn't come, and Farhad is going to win it there.
Yeah, he wins $3,000
Yeah.
new from Mo there. About a $6,000 pot he takes down.
Yep.
And Mo, who hasn't played many hands all night, really has not been lucky.
Yep. Now, Mo for the straight carded 3 was no good because Farhad's got the higher end of it there with the 6. Mo needed hearts and only hearts there. Button moves over here to Yosh.
Live straddle.
And a live straddle here by Mike.
Live straddle.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
I know, huh? A couple pots and he's throwing knives.
So Mike has made it 80 to go in the straddle spot. Barry's going to call with Jack 9. Now, Yoshi's got ace king on the button. You assume he's going to raise here with a couple limpers
Oh,
in
why
front.
not? A lot of dead money in there already. You got 80, 80, 80. You're talking about over $300 already. Why not pick it up?
He makes it 500 here.
Well, he's tried 300. That hasn't worked, so.
And I don't think he's going to get a call here. Barry's got Jack 9. Farhad's got, looks like,
Queen
4
4?
suited.
Actually, Jack 4 suited.
Gonna take it down.
Do we actually have 17 pages on 2+2?
Yeah, kind of back in. But I got to tell you, some people discussed about how we've had a lot of posts. Back in the old days, we used to have like 3 or 4 different guys post about 50 times. Now,
Right.
obviously the show is a lot bigger. A lot of posts.
I like it when he does it.
Button moves over here to seat 2.
Mike and Trish make all their employees do. Really?
Limp, limp, limp here.
Is that on the low?
You'd have to do
Trish
it
limps here on the button.
twice.
And Ed's going to pop it up here with pocket 5s. He's going to make it 340 here. Now, Mike Wu has got a pocket pair. Corporation Mike is going to call with king 9. Mike Wu's going to call with 7s. Farhad's got 8s. Mo calls with the suited 6-4 of clubs. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way action.
How about a
here.
7-5-3 flop? Actually, 8-7-5 flop.
About an $1,800 pot. And Trish mucked ace 3 of diamonds. She would have had aces up here. Ace queen 3 here. And Ed is going to bet 500 into an $1,800 pot. He actually might get it done here.
It's going to get it done. Who's going to call that? Think about it. It's a terrible flop for 8s. A terrible flop for 7s.
Yeah.
Nice bet by Ed. Really is. If that flop had come out 8-7-5, we would have set over set over set with a straight.
Button's going to move over here to Ed in C3. $20, $40, no limit hold'em. We've got about 15 minutes left in the show. Brown chips are $10 chips. Whites are hundreds. Kenny Wynn is under the gun.
You don't stop bothering her. I'm gonna let you have it. Okay? Yelling at you.
Playing bad, Ed. What do you want me to do? Let her go?
Farhad's going to limp in here with 9-10 offsuit. Mo comes in with king 10.
It's crazy. Call him 40.
Trish is going to limp in with 3-5 suited. Ed's going to come in with king rag offsuit.
Right? Quit it.
Mike completes with 10-4 diamonds, and Mike Wu checks pocket deuces. 6-way action limped around. Queen 6-5 here on the flop. Doesn't look like anybody's got a queen. Looks like Trish might have the best hand here with 5-3. And it's going to get checked around. The turn's a 3. Trish has made 2 pair now. Corporation Mike and Ed are both open-ended now with straight draws with a 4. $200 bet here by Mike with the straight draw. Can Trish raise her son here with 2 pair? No, she's just going to call. And that's going to bring Ed in right behind her. And the river here is an ace. And Trish is good. Is Mike going to bluff at it once again? Check. Trish is going to make a little value bet here with 2 pair. She's going to bet 400. And that's going to get it done there. Trish takes down the hand. Button's going to move over here to seat 4. So we're going to actually pop it over here to Dave, interviewing Yosh.
One of the greatest poker players in the world today, Yosh Nakano. How are you, Yosh?
Good, very good, thank you.
Well, I know you're involved with Poker Blue, and Poker Blue's got a great promotion going on right now. I want you to tell our viewers about it.
Well, we think this is one of the best and most creative promotions for the World Series of Poker Championship event this year. And what we've done is basically taken a situation where the odds are going to be, very tough to beat this year. There'll be 8,000 players, and we've taken 26 players that are going to go as Team Poker Blue, and we've changed the odds from 800 to 1 to cash to a 3 to 1 favorite to cash, and 8,001 to win to 308 to 1 to win for Team Poker Blue to share in the $10 million first prize pool. So
Now, more than just, I mean, it's not like I'm just sharing. I'm not like I'm getting a percentage of some random player. I'm getting a percentage of you, Ted Forrest. I mean, some really phenomenal poker players.
Yeah, we think we have 2 very good co-captains, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of other players on the team that are very good players. Actually, we've had a lot of players that just want to buy in on the team. Right. But, this is a promotion where we want to let everyone in the world have an opportunity to go to the World Series and be a favorite to cash.
Well, I tell you, if you want a piece of action, a piece of Ted Forrest's action, a piece of Yosh Nakano's action, July 6th, $110, you can get your seat on the main event for the World Series of Poker and get a piece of him and Ted Forrest.
Can't beat Monday enough, so.
You can't.
Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, great promotion here going by Poker Blue. Absolutely unbelievable. Get yourself on Poker Blue. Getting back into the hand here. We got 3-way action. 7-3-4-6 on the flop. Kenny Wynn's got an overpair. He's got pocket 10s. Barry his bet with Queen 7. Farhad now has called with 7-8. And Kenny, he's trying to figure out if he can overcall here. There's one liner to a straight. Barry has continued to bet with Queen 7. Farhad has called with 7-8. And Kenny's got 10s. And Kenny is going to make the overcall. Here we go to the river. And the river is a deuce. And Kenny still has the best hand. And he hopes it's going to get checked down, and he does. And once it gets checked down, he's got the best hand there. We welcome Dave back into the booth.
I'm back. And never fear, if you're thinking about playing on Poker Blue, I know Yosh looks a little stiff. He's not a great interviewee, I suppose
But he's a great poker player.
But he's a great poker player. And you know what? I don't really want 1% of his personality. I want 1% of his action.
There you go. Excellent way to put it, Dave.
A couple times, but he keeps laying it down. That's what I do.
Live straddle.
You're a better poker player.
Live straddle here by Yosh. Seat 1.
This is true.
He is great. That's why I say he should be retired.
Hard playing a living legend. Call.
Call the 80.
Just a call here by Mike, a call by Mike Wu. Corporation Mike's got pocket 3s. Mike Wu has a suited ace 4. Looks like Mo has completed in the big blind. And Yosh is going to race with Queen 7 off suit. Wow, he's going to make it how much? 800? Boy. I mean, again, it's going to work, Dave, but, we always talk about it. Is it really worth it in a cash game?
We've seen Mo do that an awful lot. You know what? Yosh has been playing a lot more tournaments, and I guess he's got his kind of tournament face on there.
Yeah.
We see Mo doing that sometimes where you're risking 800 to win, say, what, 200?
Yeah.
Obviously, if you do the math real quick, that play has to work. 4 times out of every 5 to make it profitable.
And, one of the reasons why I like to raise in late position is because I have position. Doing that in the straddle, you are at an inherent disadvantage because you're in the worst position for the hand.
Yeah. If anybody, and you got to remember, if anybody did smooth call with a big pocket pair, there's no reason for them to raise you.
Yeah.
They can smooth call you and you get no information about their hand.
Open limp here by Ed from up front with king queen off suit.
Yosh's got the same hand.
And Yosh might raise here. And he is going to raise.
Wow, and he's really playing aggressive out of the blinds. Normally a tough spot to play out of.
Ed is gonna pull the limp re-raise with king queen. I was a little surprised he didn't raise. He's gonna limp re-raise here. And I was gonna say if Ed just called, chances are the aggressor was gonna win, because chances are this isn't gonna hit anyone. But now Ed has the betting lead, and it's a $2,000 pot here.
Well,
Wow, both players hit a king.
yeah, and neither player is free rolling. It is a rainbow board.
And Yosh might just check call it here the whole way. He's done it before against Ed.
Well, would you be scared of ace king?
Looks like a little $900 bet here by Ed.
I mean, if you're Yosh here, you got to go, you know what? If this guy has a king, I'm probably beat.
And a quick call here by Yosh. Pot is now about $4,000. And the turn's a queen, and both players have top 2. Yosh checks again. Just like that, I was going to say. Chances are this board is going to miss both players. Now, the inherent problem is that there's a 10, paired 10s here on the board.
If you were ever wondering if this show is live, obviously.
$1,000 bet here by Ed. The pot is now $5,000, $1,000 for Yosh to call. And remember, Yosh does not beat pocket aces here. If that's one.
No, he does not, exactly.
The river is a 7.
He can beat ace king, though.
$6,000 pot. And now it looks like he's going to lead out on the river. $7,000 pot, and he's going to throw a little $2,000 bet out.
Well, he's hoping Ed's got ace king here. He really is. And Ed's going to...
Well, let's see what Ed's going to do here.
Ed's going to at least call this.
He
calls.
He's going to make the call, and they're going to chop it up here. Now, obviously, Yosh beats ace king. Chop it up. Money goes back. I was just saying, I was pointing out, if Yosh makes that raise and Ed calls, and they both miss, well, now Yosh has control of the hand. He can take it away. But by Ed limp re-raising, and the flop comes 7 deuce 3, Yosh checks, Ed makes a continuation bet, and now he takes it down.
Probably.
Yeah. And I'm going to take a look at the final chip count here of the night.
Yeah, look at that. $121,000 on the table. Corporation Mike with 38, Ed with 32, Mike Wu with 16. Unbelievable. Let's see how they're doing.
Yeah, let's take a look at the differences.
Wow.
$28,000 for Corporation Mike.
Now, Kenny is only even. Remember, he lost his first buy-in, ace-king, to Mike's set of 9s.
Mike Wu making a smallish comeback.
Trish also making come back. Remember, she was down 4,000 right away in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, she's pretty much almost even, basically.
Yeah, well, for this game, that is
Yeah.
even.
Barry's down 6,000, Dave.
Well, remember, he lost with 2 sets. Considering he lost with 2 sets, that's not bad for this
And the
game.
size of this game, it's really all not that much.
No, not at all.
Now, Ed is going to raise it up here with a suited ace-3. Now, Yosh is in there, and so is Trish.
Well,
and Trish has got 2 pair, and she checks it.
Yeah, but Ed's only got ace-3. Is he
Top
really
and
going to
bottom.
get involved with
I don't know, Dave.
He can catch backdoor spades or running 3s. That's pretty much it for him.
Ed throws about a $700 bet out there. Let's see how Trish is going to play it. And she is going to raise. It is a connected board. I don't think Ed's going anywhere. She's going to mini raise him. And Ed quickly calls.
I love the mini raise. Build yourself a pot, but don't let him off the hook. You got
$4,000 pot.
He's picked up a spade draw now.
Turns a 4.
He can catch a spade to win this.
$4,000 pot here.
A 9 will chop it up, by the way.
Trish is going to bet $2,000.
And it's-
$6,000 pot and a quick call. $8,000. Ed's going to need a spade or he needs a 9 to chop. And the river's an 8, and Trish fills through. She fills up.
And I got to tell you, the pot is 8,000. I'm betting at least
4,000.
At least 4, and I might even overbet, hoping maybe like he thinks I'm trying to buy the pot with missed hearts.
She bets 25. Well, it's kind of a little bit of a smallish bet for this pot size, about 1/4 the pot bet.
I knew I wanted a piece of her action.
It's a $10,500 pot, $2,500 for Ed to call. Luckily for Ed, a 3 didn't come out on the river. And he is going to make the call. And I love Trish. I wonder if she left a couple grand on the table there on the river.
I mean, he can really beat almost nothing except a heart draw or maybe a missed straight, something like 10-jack.
Yeah.
But is she really going to check raise with heart draw or 10-jack?
You wonder if Ed hits the spade, if Trish loses a lot of money. Backdoor spades, right?
Yeah, you really wonder. Well, the funny thing is, if it comes backdoor spades, she's probably still betting for value. And then when he raises, can she get away from it?
Especially if the river card is not a high spade. Because if she bets on the river and he raises and say it's a jack or a queen or a king, now you might put him on aces up, ace, king, ace, queen, ace, jack. But if it's a low spade, you wonder what she's going to do with it.
Definitely.
This is it, guys. This is going to be the last hand of the night.
I tell you, this is one of those nights where I wish we could go on for another 3 hours.
Absolutely. Again, we'll be back here tomorrow with probably 300 to 500 game. Button here moves to seat 1. Got an ace queen here for Ed. Actually, Mike.
Mike in the straddle spot.
Now, Yosha's got 10 deuce offsuit. Is he going to make a little kind of a tournament-esque raise? He makes it 200 to go.
He's going to try to steal it. And
Let's
if
see how
Corporation
Mike
Mike,
is gonna do.
he's going to raise it right away.
Wow, he's going to re-raise.
And we're not going to see it flop.
So we're going to go to one more hand.
I want to thank you all for joining us tonight.
Yeah. Again, thank you for Poker Blue. Check it out. 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock Pacific time every day starting on July 6th. Great way. I know I'll probably be playing in it, Dave.
Oh, definitely. Depending on the day and what's going on at the World Series of Poker, there might be an overlay some of those days.
Yeah. Remember when they used to do their old promotion way back last summer? There was a huge overlay in their tournaments.
It's great. I want to get a percentage of Ted Forrest action.
Yeah, 1%. Can't beat that. Now, Barry's going to limp him with 5s. Mike's got ace-10. Might he raise in the big blind? And might we see this again, heads up between Barry and Mike? I'm just looking forward. I can see the hands here.
Yeah. Could happen.
Because we've got a couple of limpers, and there's dead money now.
And if you're Barry, I don't mind calling a raise against Mike in this spot, because I've got pocket 5s, and I'm in position on
Mike actually checks it out of the blind with ace-10.
So we got, 4 ways, $160 pot.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, Mike's hit top pair here.
Now, Trish is open-ended, but it's a garbage open-ended. She's got the bottom end of it. If a jack were to come, it's complete garbage.
Bet here by Mike. Yosh gets involved here with king 8.
Really?
Oh, man, he makes the call. And the turn's an ace, and Mike's got aces up now.
And Mike does that to some players. You know,
And I think that this board is too draw heavy to let someone get a free ride with a jack. He bets again here. He bets 300.
No, if Yosh has a draw, you want to make him pay for it.
And Yosh calls once again over $1,000 pot. And the river's a deuce. And Mike's probably going to bet for value here again.
I really think Yosh thinks Mike is betting a jack or 7, obviously.
So it's about a $1,200 pot. Does Mike throw a nice, what would be a bluff pot? And he checked it. Is he trying to induce a bluff from Yosh? And I think Mike just played it a little bit too tricky this time.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, he played it too tricky.
Well, the funny thing is he put Yosh on a jack, thinking maybe I can induce a bluff. The funny thing is, if Mike overbets the pot on the river,
Yosh is going to call.
Yosh probably calls, thinking Mike is trying to buy it with a missed jack.
Absolutely. Well, what a night.
Wow, that really was.
A lot of fun tonight. We want to thank everybody for joining us. Again, you can check out pokerblue.com, pokerblue.net, and sign up for their tournaments. And we'll be back here tomorrow. I'm Bart Hanson for Dave Tuckman. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Mic.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.